What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise Postgame show. The Blazers tonight lose in double overtime by a score of 147 to 140 against the Denver Nuggets. Damian Lillard had the best playoff game in franchise history and maybe the best playoff performance in NBA history in a game that his team lost because the Blazers could not pull it out. This was a game where Dame showed up and pretty much nobody else did. Rocco had a good game. He was solid. I can't really think of anybody else that had a solid game for the Blazers. This was a poorly coached game. This was literally a game where Dame just tries to put the entire organization on his back. It was maybe the most incredible display of shot making there in the clutch. Some of the just this game, Dame was as clutch as it gets. We get into the second overtime. Dame can't hunt a shot. They are denying him. They are smothering him, and we have no plan to deal with that. And we end up losing the game. Dame cannot impose his will for another 5 minutes there in the second OT, and we end up losing this game. The Blazers come out in the first 6 minutes, and I was worried about this, and I talked about this on the pregame show last night. I said I'm worried about the first 6 minutes because Denver's going to come out and play hard, and everybody knew it. The team was talking about this is the game they have to have. Yet the Blazers came out in the first 6 minutes and looked like they were playing the fifth game of a regular season, maybe of the fifth game of a preseason slate, not the fifth game of a damn playoff series. This team came out sleptwalked. Denver started up 10-0. If we came out with some damn intensity in the first 6 minutes of this game, we win this game. All right, there's a number of things that we could have controlled in this game that if we did, I believe we would have won this game. And I'm just going to preface this with this, Eric, before I get kind of your whole thoughts on this. What was I saying going into this game? You got to control the controllables. Somebody like CJ missing shots or making mistakes, you need him to be better, and CJ was not good in this game at all. And I'm not making any excuses for him, but it's not like CJ is trying to play bad. CJ's trying to do his best. I fully believe that, and he did not come through. But there are things that are completely in your control that you have to try and get right so that any variables, such as CJ not playing well, Norman not playing well, Nurkic fouling out, you want to control the things you can control to the best extent possible so that if variables like that happen, you're able to survive them. And the controllable things the Blazers did not do tonight, they came out with no effort. They didn't box out. They didn't run anything for Dame there in the second OT when he's getting smothered. Stotts didn't have one action to run for our best player when they are smothering him to take him out of the damn game. Okay? And I'll get into a rant about that. It's going to be a rant stream. Sorry if we cuss. This might be a not suitable for work stream, though. So if any of you are watching at work, apologies. I'm so frustrated with this. The Blazers didn't control the controllables. And that's what we're going to get in tonight. And anybody that says, oh, well, nobody showed up other than Dame, how's that Stotts' fault? We'll get into why. And Stotts is in control of how he coaches his team. And this is just another game, an example of Dame almost saving his ass, but Stotts not putting us in the best position to succeed. And if you disagree with that, we'll get into the reasons why. Hear us out. Obviously, the role players didn't play bad, but they can't 100% control if every shot goes in. There's going to be variables in terms of player performance. That's why you got to control what you can control in the best extent possible. That falls on the coach, and that was an absolute travesty tonight, and Dame almost saved it. It wasn't enough. 55 points, over 10 assists. I don't know how many assists he ended with. And they just waste this game from Dame, fall behind in the series 3-2, and just put themselves in a position against a less talented team where they are on the brink of elimination.
I thought for a minute we were going to have one of those post-game streams that we dreamed about having from 2 years ago, where we were all in here celebrating just a ridiculously, historic, superhuman, whatever you want to use to describe it, Dame. It was just unreal down the stretch of this game. What did we run? Did we run a single play other than the Dame shoot a contested 3-point shot and hope it goes in down in both overtimes and down the stretch of the fourth quarter? I don't feel like we had any kind of offense at all.
Yeah.
It's just Dame saving this freaking team.
If you want to get into that right now, we can, because I want to rant about this, dude.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean,
man.
what was Stotts more than a spectator the final two overtimes and down the stretch of the fourth quarter? What was he doing to help Dame make it easier on Dame? He wasn't doing anything. It's literally, Dame, here's the ball. We'll maybe run a screen for you on the ball, a ball screen or a handoff, which they'll trap. Hopefully you can go 1-on-2 and make something happen for us. It's the Dame, please save us offense. And Dame did the best possible job at running the Dame, please save us offense. 55 points, 17 for 24 from the field. He sets an NBA playoff record with 12 threes. He's 12 for 17 from 3, bro. Like, dude, he could not have done a better job. And in the second overtime, he's on fire. He has a chance to set an NBA record for threes in a game. He's making everything. You just need to try and get him just a little bit of space. Doesn't even have to be clean, right? You just need to maybe get him a little bit of space. And what do? We just have him stand on the other side of the court without the ball, and Austin Rivers is basically hugging him, and we don't even run him a damn off-ball screen. And then when he has the ball, it's let's run a pick and roll for him, even though they're going to bring 2 defenders every time. It's so blatantly stupid that we do that, man. It's so stupid. Coach the damn team, dude. Run some action for him off the ball. Run him off a screen. At least make it so he might have a chance to get a little bit of space. And Stotts can't even do that. That is basic stuff. And Stotts can't even do it. The offensive genius himself, like a lot of his defenders try and claim he is, just good old ESPN had to split up that rant. Bro, that's an offensive genius that just the last 15 minutes of game time just sits back and, Dame, please do something, man. Please save us. Hopefully you can hit this double team 3 step back. And then Dame hits a bunch of them. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness. I'm so sick of the way this guy coaches. Just run him off a couple screens. Here's the thing. In Golden State, if Steph Curry gets hot, they run him off screens and they use all the attention he's getting to free up other players on cuts to the rim and free up other players for good shots, right? We didn't do that at all because we didn't even run anything for him. Like, how blatantly dumb is that? If you run good actions for him, utilizing him off the ball, he's either going to get more space and get shots up when he's on fire, or they're going to have to pay so much attention to him to stop that you're going to open up things for other players. But instead, it's like he's exhausted and he's being smothered and hugged across the court by Austin freaking Rivers. And it's like, okay, well, I guess we're playing 4-on-4 now. CJ, please, no sets called, nothing. Let's run some isolation, some pick and roll, and let's hope that things happen. Or if Dame has the ball, it's like, let's just run him off a ball screen. That's all we did, and it's so stupid, and it just so dumb. I can't believe it happened to that extent, Eric.
In the words of Terry Stotts, it's what we do, Tori. It's what we do. That's all they've done for the last 5 years. So why would it be any different in the second half of a very critical playoff game? I mean, I don't know why anyone would expect anything different.
And it's been a complaint of mine for years.
Especially when you see previous games like the last game when ball movement and actually like running cutters and driving to the basket and stuff like that. That actually worked out. But why would we go to that when we need baskets down the stretch of a game?
I mean, here's the thing. Is like, yes, our role players think play well, but how many, like Powell got some open threes. CJ got a couple open threes he missed. But it's like, CJ's not trying to miss shots, man. He's not trying to miss shots. He finished with 7 assists, 3 turnovers. He maybe forced a couple of shots he shouldn't. But, like, the dude, like, you're going to have guys that have off shooting nights, okay? It's how you respond to that. But here's the thing. It's not like we were using all the attention Dame was getting to get CJ going potentially, to get him open looks, to get Powell open looks. Like, it's like when Dame gets going, the offense is just watch Dame carry the team. And then when teams defend to, like, just completely take him out of the game and completely smother him and deny him, then the other players are like, oh, I don't know what to do. We're not running a set. Dame doesn't have the ball. I guess I got to go get the ball and do something. I haven't touched it in 5 minutes. And I'm not saying Dame shouldn't have the ball in his hands. It's just like, if your guys, other guys are on the team, are cold because they haven't really touched the ball, they've been standing around watching Dame work their defense, then okay, use the attention on Dame to get those guys some better looks. Because that's the thing. It's like Dame has all this attention on him, and we don't generate a single good look in that second overtime, in my opinion. Maybe we had one, but we can't even get good looks for other guys, let alone get Dame any space to even get a shot up. And that is just absolutely ridiculous, especially with the talent that we have on this offense. So while I'm unhappy with the game CJ played, I'm frustrated with the game CJ played, there's a lot of possessions where it's like, what is he supposed to do? There's 5 on the shot clock, and he's having a ball screen ran for him. He's getting double teamed, and he has to try and force something up. You know what I mean? It's not like this dude is missing a bunch of open shots, bro. It's not like there was a lot of possessions where it was like, what do you even want CJ to do differently there? You know? Run some damn offense. It's just rat ball out there with one guy who's insanely talented and 4 guys just standing around watch him go. Like, it's dumb. I don't know, man.
I mean, CJ was brutally bad on both sides of the court tonight, especially the overtime where we got down 9. I guess that was the first overtime. Like, he was just playing so stupid. Our whole team plays dumb, and we do the dumbest mistakes. And that's because we are not prepared to not only hold these players accountable, so when they do mess up, they learn from them, because it's the same damn mistakes we've seen time and time again for years. And it's just we don't have any kind of game plan. We don't have preparation. And then we rely on Dame and CJ at times to have games where they just make all these tough shots. Like all those shots CJ missed tonight, those are shots that, like in Game 7 last year, we needed him to make. Otherwise, we didn't have a chance of winning that game. So, yeah, he's not going to make them every time. But, yeah, it sucks. See, I mean, there's got to be a point where you stop shooting the freaking ball and pass to someone. And then Rocco missed those 2 dunks, which just absolutely killed us.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, don't try to throw it down so hard or something. Like, I don't know. We went through that same thing with Derek Jones earlier in the season. Like, just lay it up sometimes.
Would have been nice to have Derek Jones in that position, though, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, no, that would have been great.
Instead, Melo plays 30 minutes.
We're not prepared enough to do that.
Yeah, Melo plays 30 minutes instead. Derek Jones doesn't get a single minute. Melo's 3 for 11.
Yeah, it was just like, I mean, we're not running a play. Our plays are literally Dame, try to score, and if you can't score, give it to CJ and hope he scores. And if you can't score, like sometimes throw it to Norm if he's open in the corner, or throw it to Melo if he's open. And that's literally our offense. And that's like why Tori and I have been talking ever since we started doing these shows on Blazers Uprise about how this does not work in the playoffs unless you have an unreal performance from someone like we had in Game 7 2 years ago with CJ, or like we had with Damian Lillard tonight. And Damian Lillard almost single-handedly beats a team with the rest of his team playing like absolute crap in this game. And that's not a good thing. That's a horrible thing. This team was not prepared to play this game tonight. They did nothing to fix the mistakes they made in the first 4 games of this series, and it came back and bit them. And they, like you said, they almost got saved because of Dame hitting all those threes, but they weren't like clean looks. In fact, like his last miss from 3 was probably his cleanest look of the night. He came off a pick and actually had a little bit of space, but he was kind of going to his left. It's a tough shot, but like most of those threes were step backs or 5 feet behind the line with a guy like literally in his face or like up against him. So, I mean, you can't ask for much more of a performance from your superstar, and it's just a shame that we let it go to waste.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like CJ isn't in control. Like, yeah, he just has to make shots, but he's not 100% in control if he goes 14 for 22 or 7 for 22, right? Some of the decisions he made, I'm unhappy with, but the things that are completely controllable is what we're running offensively. And I just saw multiple times in this game where CJ is just like, well, this offense is going to be stagnant, and without Dame, we're screwed, and I have to make something happen. Instead of being able to put trust in the offense to actually manufacture the team a good shot without Damian Lillard doing it himself. That's the thing. That's the problem there. So that's why I'm sitting here talking about the coaching, because dude, the coaching is not the only thing to blame in this game. Not at all.
Right,
and people get confused and think that's what we mean. No, not at all. But the coaching is the most controllable thing to blame in this game, right? It's the most controllable thing. Like, CJ in like Game 7 had like similar shot quality and was like, I don't know, shooting over 50% and carried us. You know what I mean? It's like that's the shots we end up getting for him. It's not like we're running some sort of offense that is getting him good looks and he's missing, or good looks and then he's making poor decisions. Like, it's already just kind of a screwed up situation that our guys are in a lot of times. Like that's like, we literally go 2 overtimes. I don't think we ran one thing, and Dame is just getting smothered, and he has a great performance. The first overtime brings us back from down 9 with just insanely difficult shots, and then he can't even get insanely difficult shots off in the second overtime, and we're screwed because we don't run anything. Like, that is completely controllable by the coaching staff, and it's been one of my biggest complaints for years, is we don't have good enough action, we don't have good enough sets, we don't utilize Dame off the ball like we should. And guess what? It comes down to the second overtime where the dude's on fire in a game 5 in 2021, and it bites us in the butt, just like it's bitten us in the butt in 2019 when we got swept by the New Orleans Pelicans. It's bitten us in the butt over and over and over again in the playoffs, and Stotts has not learned. And that's why I'm talking about it, because it's ridiculous that he hasn't learned that in 9 years of coaching this team, few years too long. And it's just ridiculous that we don't even run anything. So I can't blame CJ for stepping out of bounds. It's like we're chucking this cross-court pass to him because we're not running anything. We're discombobulated. And he catches the ball and steps backwards to try and drive. Like, yeah, CJ, don't step out of bounds. But it's like we're already in a screwed up position on that possession in the first place, right? So, like, the offensive issues, sure, Norman makes a couple more shots, CJ makes a couple more shots, and we win the game. But that's winning the game on the backs of Damian Lillard scoring 55 freaking points. You know what I mean? That's nothing to do with Stotts, because it's not like Stotts is helping this guy get good looks by running him off screens, by running some sort of action for him. It's literally Dame, like, doing some and one mixtape ball handling, crossover, step back, contested, fadeaway, double team 3, and that's literally what it is, bro. So that, and then the defense is also mostly on the coach in this game, and we can get into that after this.
Yeah, and here's my biggest problem with CJ, especially in this game. And this is why it sucks that we're so reliant on him, and why Tori and I have been trying to tell you guys, oh, don't look at the offensive rating like Stotts does. And I mentioned this, but like after the last game, Stotts literally said before that game that it doesn't matter. They don't need to make anything better as long as the offensive rating is good. He doesn't think there's ever a need to improve as long as they have a good offensive rating in the regular season. And that's just such crap, and why we get stuck in this position. But the thing I'll say about CJ is Dame last game, right? He's 1 for 10. He has, but he only takes 10 shots, right? So yeah. Dame recognizes it's not my night. Norm, Nurk, those guys are going off. Let them go off. Let them have good games. CJ is very bad at that. He'll take his 20 shots, whether he's making 7 like tonight or whether he's making 15 out of 20. He will shoot 20 shots no matter what the game situation is. And that's my biggest problem with CJ, and why it sucks that we're so reliant on him to do that, because I still believe if he was put in a position to use his ball handling and the way he can get to that mid-range and top of the key or middle of the key jumper, if he used that to set up the offense and to distribute for other people, I still think this offense would be unstoppable. But that has not been drilled into him. That has not been coached in a way to do that. So until that happens, CJ has to have some sort of self-recognition to know, I don't have it tonight. Let me find someone who does, or get that on. Now, the problem with that, and why I'm not going to be like FCJ like a lot of people are saying, is because there weren't many people on tonight. Like last game, you can make that case and say Dame was fighting the hot hand. But tonight, other than Dame, who was getting like double team most plays down the stretch, there's no one else that has the hot hand. Everyone is bricking their shots. So like it's tough to just blame like one person for not passing when we did pass. Like people were, I mean, Melo dribbled the ball out of bounds once and traveled once. Nurk had several turnovers in this game, threw some incredibly lazy passes. Norm wasn't hitting shots. Roko's bricking dunks, and so I mean, there's not much to do. So it's almost like he has to do that. And that's the problem with the offense. When it's like that, people aren't hitting shots. We live and die by the 3-point shot. And if they're not hitting them, we just get stuck in these situations where if no one can make them, we're just screwed. And we have no kind of counter that. We got them in foul trouble very early in the third quarter, and we did not attack the basket. We should have had a parade to the free throw line in that third quarter, gotten like 20 free throws in that quarter, forced the action to them, gotten them all in foul trouble. Instead, we played conservative and didn't really play aggressive to the hoop. And I thought that was a key stretch in the game where we didn't attack the basket.
Yeah, here's the thing on CJ, right? We're talking about him taking 22 shots in 51 minutes played. Dame took 10 shots last game in 31 minutes played. So we have to remember that CJ ended up playing 51 minutes for those 22 shots. And then to your point of like everybody else struggling, it's like, what is CJ supposed to do when he's out there with Norman Powell, who's shooting 5 for 14, Melo's 3 for 11, Anthony's 2 for 7 in this game, and they have Rondé Hollis Jefferson? Like, is he supposed to pass to somebody, and what's going to happen then? They're not in action. So then it's like, okay, Simons is going to go one-on-one. Cool. It's not going to be a better result. Melo's going to go one-on-one. He was 3 for 11 tonight. Cool. It's not going to be a better result. Norman's going to go one-on-one. Not going to be a better result. So that's the thing. That's my issue with it. It's like, yes, he shot bad, but it's like, what do you expect him to do there? He is the best creator on the floor, and we're literally running a rat ball offense that needs somebody to try and create something, and it's just isolation, and it's pick and roll, and there's no actual, like, there's no legitimate action being run. So it's like, what do people want him to do there? Pass to, like, maybe he missed a couple open guys. And I had an issue with that too, but it's like a lot of situations, like everybody's standing around waiting for somebody to do something, and everybody else on the floor is struggling too. It's like, what is CJ supposed to do there? I don't know. Like, everybody blaming CJ. Tell me what you want him to do in that situation, because maybe I'm just missing something. Yeah, there was a couple times where he drove and drew multiple defenders and should have kicked the ball out and didn't. But I mean, the dude had 7 assists today. It's not like the dude didn't pass at all. I mean, I don't know. In a lot of possessions, it's just everybody standing around waiting for somebody to do something, and everybody was struggling, you know, other than Dame. So I don't know what people expected CJ to do in those situations.
I almost wish Dame didn't pass the ball in the 2 overtimes, just shot it every time. Because, like, when you're that hot from 3, you can get to the basket and get around those people. So I wish he would have just forced them, once again, to attack the basket and get to the free throw line and win the game that way versus giving the ball up and letting someone else, like CJ, shoot the ball. So I almost wish Dame wouldn't have even passed the ball at all in that situation. I know that goes against what I'm saying, but when someone's that, like, lava hot, like, you just gotta live with him either making those shots or not, because we didn't really have a plan, and like you said, there wasn't really anything else to do. So my only issue is I'd rather have Dame shooting those shots than seeing CJ brick them when Dame's hit like 10 threes in a row.
It like gets to the point where Dame's gonna have to shoot a 35-foot step back, which I guess is what you want. The dude is on fire.
I'd rather Dame to shoot from 3/4 court.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with you. It's just ridiculous that we can't do anything for him. So that's why I'm talking about the coaching staff and not CJ. Right. You know, like, that's why I'm like starting this post-game show off talking about the sort of offense we're running instead of CJ, where everybody's like, trade CJ, get him off my team, send him to Mars. I don't ever want to see him play for us again. And it's just like, man, I'm just like imagining being put in his position, like seeing like what I see when they're running offense, quote on running, because they're not running anything. Like, I just imagine being in this position, and it's just like, what is he supposed to do? That's what I'm thinking, like, a number of times. Like, this offense it's Stotts fence in the playoffs. That's what happens. It stagnates, and you have to have somebody bail him out. And then when you have Dame bailing him out and CJ is having an off night, it makes CJ look insanely bad, and screw CJ. But it's like the offense should be better than this and should be generating better shots than this. That, especially against a Denver Nuggets defense, and especially when we got all this damn offensive talent and supposedly an offensive genius as our head coach. Like, the shot quality was not good tonight whatsoever. So I don't know what people expect him to do. That's why I'm not being super hard on him. He did not have a good game. He made some decisions that he shouldn't have made. He should have made better decisions. He did not play well in this game whatsoever. He took some contested shots. Yeah. You know, maybe you shouldn't settle for some things. It's just like, it's kind of screwed from the get-go, in my opinion, when you don't really run anything. So at that point, it's just like it's going to be crap either way. So the type of offense we run is controllable. CJ has had big games off the types of shots he shot tonight. Game 7 against Denver, it was the same stuff where our offense was just utter dog crap. And CJ bailed it out, hitting a bunch of tough contested shots and has 37 against the same Denver Nuggets team. You know what I mean? And everybody was singing his praises then. Now it's like the same type of game, but he doesn't shoot well, and everybody hates him. But it's like the offense is still the same thing where it's just utter crap. So that's what I have an issue with.
Yep. And I mean, CJ deserves to get killed. He had several like horrendously bad defensive effort like plays in this game as well. And frankly, it might have cost us the game. We should have lost in the first overtime because of it. But yeah, so I guess that's where my problem is. He lets it affect the other end too. And
but like,
for all,
go ahead.
I just want to say for how cocky he is and for all the talking he does, being a shark and all that stuff, you can't have these kind of performances and talk that way. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of he's trying a little too hard to be the guy when he's not consistently that way.
Yeah, what's not says in chat, I just want to respond to this. He says, because it's kind of what I'm seeing. Tori, you said you keep saying he should have made better plays, but we're not talking about that. His only job was to make a damn play down the stretch. Well, he tried to make a play down the stretch, and then when he tried to make a play, it wasn't, he wasn't put in a position to succeed. He wasn't put in an easy position to make a play. So then when he tried, everybody was like, CJ, give up the ball. What are you trying to do? Like, CJ was trying to make a play down the stretch. Like, yeah, that's his job. He was trying to do his job. He failed. The thing is, in my opinion, Stotts wasn't even trying to do his job because he wasn't even coaching the damn game.
Mm. See, the thing with CJ is, in those situations, it would be better for him if he found a way to get to the line, but he always pulls up and like shies away from contact in the key instead of like taking it to the hoop to try and finish in the paint or try and absorb contact or whatever and maybe get to the line. And maybe that's the time where you want to try and get a foul called on a shot instead of necessarily trying to hit like a one-step runner or something like that. But the problem is, I mean, he can make those, so it's just frustrating. He missed, and then one of them, he thought he got fouled, but it was Enes Kanter undercutting him on the shot instead of the defender. So like he turns around and it's Enes instead. He thought he was going to the line, but yeah, it's just really tough game for him.
Yep. Now let's talk about the defense, okay? And this is my other issue, is the fact that we have no idea how to help him recover properly. It's random, Eric. It's random. Like, there's two things that killed us in this game. One was, why in the world are we going under screens on Monte Morris? He's a 38% three-point shooter. He can shoot the ball. Why in the world are we going under screens on him? He has 28 points on us. 4 for 9 from the three-point line. He gets to the line a lot, 10 for 11. But we're dropping the big, and he's able to get downhill into the mid-range. He's able to pull up from 3. He had a good three-point shooting night, and he's able to just attack our big. And then our big has to make a choice. Do I stay with Jokic? Do I go help? Like, it's so ridiculous that we're literally sitting here going under some Monte Morris screens once he gets hot, and he just starts pulling up from 3 and hitting them. And then we'll, like, switch on him and put Melo on him, and then he'll just drive right to the rim and beat Melo to the rim. So that was just dumb. And then when we do get beat to the rim, we have like 3 guys help or nobody help. And like we're completely clueless as to whose responsibility is what. You're supposed to be in a situation where it's like, okay, this guy's supposed to help and you're supposed to be the guy behind him, right? Let me, I don't want to pull up the clipboard. If you have 2 defenders guarding 2 guys on the opposite end of the court, one is supposed to be responsible for the help, and one is supposed to be responsible for the first pass kicked out to either of those 2 guys, right? And then the guy who helped has time to get the second pass. If they kick it out corner, the guy that was left over there closes out on that, and then if they kick it up to the wing, by that time, the guy who helped on the drive should be able to get back out there. That's basic help side defense and recovery. But somebody will drive and everybody will be in the paint and then they'll kick it out and get an open 3. You know what I mean? Like, our help side defense and then recoveries, it's like there's no plan, Eric. So it's like it becomes a situation where it's like we'll try and help on Jokic, but behind that we don't know what we're doing. It's just kick out pass and somebody will hit a 3, or like, that happens, and then it's like, okay, well, let me reword this. It's like that'll happen, and then Stotts will think, okay, well, we can't help on him because it's leaving shooters open. Let's just leave Cantor or Melo or Rocco alone on an island with Jokic. Both are bad because one is providing help without any plan behind that double team, behind that help. And the second is leaving a defender that can't compete with Jokic on an island with him one-on-one. You need to provide him help and then have the backside rotations on point, the help responsibilities the players need to know. But it's like there's no plan, and they have no idea who's supposed to help, who's supposed to rotate where, who's supposed to take the first kick-out pass, and that's an indictment on the coaching staff. A coaching staff that, in my opinion, has no idea how to coach defense. No idea whatsoever. That's my thoughts on the defense tonight.
So, to your point, there was a play, I think this was in the first half when they were going on their run. There was a play where Jokic got the ball at the three-point line, drives baseline, all five guys collapse the paint. He kicks out to a wide-open shooter who misses. We all just stand there. All five guys just stand there in the paint. The ball gets tipped out. Another wide-open three, miss. Ball gets offensive rebounded again, even though we have five guys standing in the paint just watching the ball. And it's just like we collapse for no reason. I lost track at I was into the almost 40, 50 range of times someone helped off their ball, did not have any effect on the ball handler, or was not in a position to help on the play whatsoever. Their guy is the one who gets it kicked out to and gets the shot because they are caught in an area where there is no way they can help in time. Even if the ball handler does come to where they are, it's not going to the hoop, so he's driving away from the hoop or sideways, east-west instead of north-south. So even having an extra help defender there doesn't even matter. And this is a constant problem under Stotts coach teams. It's just, they're so unprepared. And I talked about this last night. Jokic, in this game, on the right block, he might trick you and act like he's going to go middle a couple times, but he always, 99% of the time, turns back towards the baseline to shoot the ball, either a jumper or spins completely and goes to the hoop that way. And it's almost guaranteed when he has the ball there. I'm sitting at home. I can tell you his tendencies in the post. I can tell you how I would guard him in the post. And our frickin' defenders almost shade him, so he forces them right into what he's comfortable doing. And it's just absolutely ridiculous unpreparedness by this coaching staff to not hammer this home that you play him baseline side on that. And I just don't understand how we can be in Game 5 talking about an MVP player not getting defended in a way to best give us the chance to win. And he didn't even have the greatest game, I guess. I thought we played pretty good defense on him, but for being 101. But it's still so frustrating when he's getting the ball on that right block and he just spins to the baseline every time, and we're stunned that he does it, and it's just ridiculous. And I actually thought Cantor, I can't remember if it was the first overtime or the second overtime when he played the first 2 or 3 minutes. I thought he played pretty good defense, all things considering. But the times earlier in the game where we not only go under screens, but we. Cantor's not staying with Jokic. So what's the point of going under the screen if Cantor's not engaged with Jokic and he's leaving them and he's caught in no man's land? The person getting screened is going under, so he can't contest the three, but neither of them are in a position to contest Morris on those shots, or Rivers, or whoever it is. And then if they do go out on him, they just pass to Jokic and he's open. If you're going to go under a screen, that should be because you are making sure the big man is staying with Jokic in that situation. So it's kind of ridiculous that after all all this time we still don't understand those basic concepts of basketball defense, and it's absolutely killing us, and it might cost us the series that we have no business losing.
Yep. I mean, we're just clueless defensively, and I think that's where the drop-off was when we lost Vanderpool. Because at least, like, we still ran way too much drop scheme, but at least, like, our help side rotations and kind of our responsibilities on the backside, like, they were consistent. And it wasn't Aminu or Harkless being better off-ball defenders than Norman Powell and Robert Covington. No way, Robert Covington is better off-ball defender than both those guys. But it's like, when we lost Vanderpool, we lost having consistency in terms of who is supposed to help, who is supposed to not help and then take the first kick-out pass, who's supposed to rotate where. It's like we lost that stuff, you know? And I feel like he was responsible, heavily responsible for our defense. So we lose him, and we don't really replace him with a defensive guy. I don't know if it's supposed to be Nate Tibbetts or what, but it's obvious that Stotts has no idea how to coach on the defensive end, because you lose David Vanderpool, and now you can't even do basic stuff like knowing who's supposed to help and who's supposed to rotate and who's supposed to be positioned where, and you completely, like, Stotts is just clueless when it comes to coaching defense, right? He was labeled as an offensive coach when we brought him into Portland, right? He's never been thought of as a defensive coach. And it's obvious at this point that Vanderpool was helping him out a lot. And then he lost Vanderpool to Minnesota, and the defense has been, like, historically bad since then. Even no matter who you have, if you have Hazonia and Melo as the starting forwards, historically bad. Well, of course, they're not good defenders. But it's like you bring in Norman Powell, Robert Covington, a good defender and a great defender, and it's not any better. You got Nurkic back instead. It's like our defense was better in 2019 when we were starting Harkless, Aminu, and Canner. Now we got Norman Powell, Rocco, in Nurkic, a far better defensive front court in my opinion, and it's worse. Like, it's not a personnel-dependent thing. We are struggling with our backside rotations, knowing who's supposed to help. Like, you have to have that on point, especially if you're going to have like a Dame and a CJ who are going to get beat. They're not the best defensive backcourt. You have to know, okay, if there's a breakdown, this guy's supposed to help, and this is where we rotate. Good coached, well-coached teams know how to cover for a defensive breakdown. This team is absolutely beyond clueless how to cover for a defensive breakdown, and it starts with the coaching staff. It absolutely starts with the coaching staff.
And to be honest, Rocco was absolutely brutally bad off ball in this game. Like, he was probably our biggest culprit outside of CJ, Dame in the first half, maybe. But there was a lot of those plays I was talking about were Rocco off ball, just helping off his guy for absolutely no reason. And this is the problem when you don't have a team that is synced defensively. So you have a good off ball defender that obviously becomes basically useless and can't even impact the defense because they're not even using him to his strengths, and it's frustrating because I mean, this is the case where if our rotations are better, we easily win this game, in my opinion.
See, here's the thing. Here's the issue I have is we'll go out and get a Robert Covington, right? And then he'll have a game like tonight where he's bad off ball defensively, and people will say, "How's that on Stotts? That's Rocco playing bad off the ball defensively, and that's on Olshey for trading for him." Rocco in a proper defensive on a team that is decently coached defensively, where he knows where he's supposed to be and what his responsibilities are, is one of the best off-ball defenders in the entire league. So him tonight being a very poor off-ball defender is an indictment of the coaching staff as well, because I've seen him play. I've watched him play enough during his previous stints in the league where it's like the dude is one of the best off-ball defenders in the league, and then he comes here and it's like he has no idea where he's supposed to be and when he's supposed to help and where the rotations are supposed to be. Of course he's going to look bad if nobody knows what their responsibilities are off the ball and where they're supposed to be positioned. Like he can't just come in here and make up for that, you know what I mean? Because that's the thing, you have to be on a string, you have to be synced defensively, and he might do what is the right thing, but then somebody else doesn't know what to do, and they might go out to the same guy and leave another shooter open. Rocco can't make up for that. So that's the thing, is he's one of the best off-ball defenders in the entire league, and he's almost become underrated because he's playing in a Terry Stotts coached defense where nobody knows what they're supposed to be doing off the ball, and it makes him look bad, and he was bad tonight. And that's a product of us not knowing what to do off the ball defensively.
And that's still why I'd like to see like a lot of these players in a defense that like with the coaching staff that actually like paid attention to these details and taught them that their technique is terrible and actually like held them accountable when they made mistakes off ball so that it gets fixed by this time of the season. But it's just not happening with this team.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Stotts is not going to improve. Thank you all for the donations. We'll read them off in a second. Any team-based things that we haven't touched on that kind of irked you in this game?
Team-based, yeah, I mean, I was severely disappointed. I mean, it's one thing to miss shots, but I don't know. Once again, you know, we hear all this talk. It's got to be different this game. We gotta want it, and then all of a sudden we're down like 14-1 or 13-1, and you know, it's like at some point, I mean, they play with fire with all these situations. You let a team like just completely dictate the pace. We come out like conservative and soft once again. And it's so frustrating to watch. Like I don't feel the intensity and the focus at the beginning of the games that a game 5 playoff game, there is no excuse to be that like I don't know, that lackadaisical, that like conservative. Like they played the first almost 18 minutes of this game like it didn't even freaking matter. And I do not understand as a competitor not having just like going down without a fight. And of course they come back and make it a game and stuff. But imagine if they didn't have to waste all that energy trying to come back from 22 down. And then we get this performance from Dame in the second half and we win going away, you know. But instead we just let them like, frankly, they just like, I don't even know the right word, but they completely dominated us in the first 18 minutes of this game, and we looked like we couldn't care less about what they were doing, and that's just disgraceful to me that a team would not show any fight. Like get mad, get angry, get intense. Like, where is the intensity, Tori? Like, I didn't see any of that in the first quarter of this game, especially. And yeah, I didn't want to use that word, thanks. So, but I mean, where was the fight? If you want to talk about how important this game is, I mean, it should look like it's important from the opening jump ball. And I felt like we just totally came and messed around and weren't even locked in, and that's just. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's something this team is frankly known for, and I mean, they just don't show up to big games sometimes, and it's just perplexing to me. Like, I don't understand.
Yep, I mean that's one area where I kind of wish we had a Draymond Green, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like just a player get on these guys' asses. Like it's just ridiculous that we come out and we're not prepared to match their energy when we knew what their energy was going to be. Like, what are we playing for? We're playing for our entire season. Like, this is what you guys do. Like, it's the playoffs, man. I mean, I don't know why that's a thing. Like, it's so ridiculous that is a thing. And obviously, Terry Stotts doesn't know how to motivate this team. What did Mike Malone do after Game 4? He called out his team's lack of effort. Lit a fire under those guys' asses. And what do they do in Game 5? They come out with tremendous intensity, right? But like Stotts, I never see him mad at these guys, getting on these guys, subbing a guy out for poor effort. I never see him holding these guys accountable for their lack of intensity and a lack of effort. And it goes back to the whole, like, all the press conferences we've watched on this post-game show throughout the entire season, where we're annoyed at the team for saying stuff like, you know, especially Stotts, like, well, 500 on the road is pretty good, and, you know, we just wanted to get, 2 out of 4, so it's fine that we lost tonight. Like, that's not exactly what he says, but he said, that's basically paraphrasing, reading between the lines. Like, his whole attitude is like, mediocrity is fine, and it's fine to come out here without intensity in the first. Like, that's how the dude coaches, bro. Like, I'm not saying Stotts needs to be a screamer, because, like, there are guys that just scream at their players constantly, and that loses its weight, right? Like, you just got to know the right time to get on your team. If you do it at the right times in the right situations, your team will respond. But Stotts doesn't do it at all, as far as I've seen, and it's just ridiculous. Like, get on your team. You come out sleepwalking to start the game. Like, that's unacceptable, man. It's unacceptable that he took, 4 minutes, 5 minutes to call a timeout when it was obvious this team was sleepwalking off the bat. A good coach, a great Popovich, calls timeout less than 2 minutes into this game because he sees that his team is not coming out with intensity, bro. Like, I don't know. You gotta bring it. Like, that's why I hate all the non-competitive narratives that the media tries to throw out for this team. And that's why I hate the non-competitive stuff that players on the team and especially the coach says sometimes. I mean, I'm looking at Twitter and I see people like, oh, the Blazers haven't missed the playoffs in 8 years, so now their fans are spoiled and expect more than they should and yada yada. Like, bro, we have the best player in franchise history dropping 55 points and 10 assists in this game. And we lose to a team that's less talented than us. And it's all about, oh, well, this fan base is spoiled because they're upset with this. Like, what? That's Dane Delgado that's saying that, by the way. I mean, that's how the media is. And, Dane Delgado works over there at Blazers Edge, and they just hate Olshey, so they're going to try and make it out like an Olshey problem. But we have the more talented team in the series. Mm-hmm. And we had the best player tonight drop 55 points, and we still lose.
See, my problem is to add to what you were saying about the press conferences and stuff. So we've heard Stotts say, nothing I say makes a difference. Like, I'm not a motivator. I don't give speeches. I don't do this kind of crap. But his team has played like that, recently. Like, they don't, and they've kind of taken that attitude. And I think it's been, you can't have either extreme. You can't have a coach that yells all the time. You can't have a coach that is constantly just, excusing everything. But, we pointed this out almost every post game that we heard it throughout this season and last season. How many times they say, oh, the other team just wanted it more. Oh, you heard Coach Stotts in this freaking playoff series talk about how Denver was more aggressive tonight. And then he was asked, why didn't your team come out with a sense of urgency? Oh, I didn't say that. It's like, no, dude, like you said, Mike Malone, sorry, I won't call him Michael, but...
Wait, isn't it Michael? I don't remember.
It's Michael, but yeah, screw that. But anyways, if he was asked that question, he would be like, no, it's excusable. These guys did not come to play, and it's on them for being soft or whatever. That's what he said. And, and so, this is the problem. You ask Stotts that question, he's like, oh, I didn't say that. I thought we had urgency. Even though he, spent 5 minutes saying how much they lacked aggression and shit. It's like, just come out and lace into the team once and say tonight, I hope tonight he was like, that effort in the first quarter was inexcusable, but instead he's going to be like, oh, we came into Denver and almost beat them and Dame played awesome, or I didn't think we did a single thing wrong in this game, and I was a great coach, and I would never put my team in a bad position to win. That's the kind of BS we'll hear about this crap, and it drives me crazy because a good coach would not constantly have these stupid excuses about not having his team prepared, getting outworked in games, other teams wanting it more. How can another team want to win a series more than you or want to win a game in the playoffs more than you? There should be no excuse for that at all. And if that is consistently happening, try a different approach. You can't just do the same thing. But just like our defensive schemes, we do the same stupid things over and over again, make the same mistakes time and time again. They never get fixed. They never get corrected. Our offense absolutely is not designed to win in the playoffs, yet we still fucking run the same thing. And it pisses me off. Every single thing about this team is complacent, and it's being run into the ground by a coach who does not. He's too scared and too insecure about himself to change anything because it might work and show that what he's been doing for the last several years has been absolute crap, and he would get exposed either way by showing it or by not showing it. So he's just hoping that Dame will save him in a game like this, and then people will think, oh, well, maybe Stotts is still a good coach because we won a game where he did absolutely nothing in this case. And that's been my major problem with Stotts, is not just that these things don't work out, because honestly, if he tried a bunch of new things or tried a different approach or said different things and maybe mixed things up when they weren't working, maybe this year we tried a whole new defense and we stuck with it for 60 games and it just was not working out or whatever, I would give him credit for at least trying something different. My problem is we ran the same defensive schemes. We went right back to the same crap that didn't work, and then we expect it to be good once we hit the playoffs and then we start blaming personnel again, and it's the roster and all this crap. And that's just not the case. It's the fact that we keep trying the same damn things and we expect different results, and that's just stupid basketball. And you're never going to win teams against teams consistently in the playoffs when you do that stupid crap.
Yeah, I mean, we've been calling it out all season. We called it out all last year. I mean, bro, like, some people are never going to see it. Some people are never going to wake up. And that's whatever. I don't know how you can sit here and say the defensive personnel is why we suck defensively. It's so obviously the coaching staff, and I mean that's what we've been saying all year, and we can point out why, and that's what we've done on this post-game show. So let's thank some donos. Shout out Andrew Miller. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. There's just a ton to talk about. I have all if you missed any too. Andrew Miller was the first one, right? Yep, I got them all. Shout out Andrew Miller, $10 dono. He says, I now disagree with your CJ take. He's a bigger defensive liability than an offensive asset. One good game 7 does not excuse him helping off Morris every time Morris roasted him as usual. Well, I mean, this was kind of before we got into a lot of it, and guys don't know who's supposed to help and when they're supposed to help, and just off-ball defense, this team is not coached up properly. So, yeah, CJ shouldn't be helping off Morris when Morris is hot, but, I mean, seems like it's a team-wide problem, and it has been since Vanderpool left, and I don't think any one guy is to blame for that. Appreciate it, though, Andrew. You're always very supportive, and it means a lot to us. Feel free to respond to any of these. If not, I'm just going to roll through. Shout out Shaggy Squid for a $10 Australian dono. Says, Nurk is a biatch for fouling out again. CJ shot selection, paint, defense while his man shoots, open corners. I'm over it. Move on from CJ in the offseason. Dame played insane. Not even human. I'm in tears, bro. See, a lot of the Nurk fouls I thought were questionable, and I wish they'd call Jokic for the same things. I thought Jokic flopped on that post up. Jokic is lowering his shoulder like that into guys all the time, and he wouldn't get called for that charge. And then the moving screen was just ridiculous. It was just absolutely ridiculous to get him his 5th foul. I mean, the dude still was a statue, and Austin Rivers ran into him. That was just a terrible call. They just called it because Austin Rivers crumpled. So, yeah, Nurk has to be a little smarter on a couple of them, but there was a couple fouls where it's just like, are you guys kidding me? Call the same stuff for Jokic, please.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know that you can't do it. You just can't. And I thought Nurk's 5th foul they should have challenged that pick, the offensive foul on the screen. Like, we end up eating our challenge. We didn't even use it tonight, right? I don't think we used it, right?
I don't think we did. I mean, there's another thing to criticize the damn coach over.
So, yeah, in that situation, I thought that was too critical of a moment. I mean, they might have still called it, but it was close enough to where I think you have to keep the big guy in the game in that situation. And we ended up going on a run right afterwards. But, yeah, I don't know. 3 offensive fouls, whether they're ticky-tacky or not, you just can't do it. And he is kind of being on the verge of moving a lot of his screens. And part of that is the guard's problem because the guards take off too early before he has a chance to get set. But it's really tough when you're handing the ball off and the guard runs right into you. Like, what are you supposed to do in those situations? So, yeah, it's frustrating. But I felt like he just gets in those situations where he's too over-aggressive. I thought maybe he could get away with it and get a foul or two, since he only had 1 in the first half. But you just can't foul 5 times in as little a time that he got called for it, whether they're ticky-tacky or not. You just have to find a way to avoid those fouls. And then the one on Gordon, I mean, once again, he gets caught out of position and turns and tries to contest an Aaron Gordon shot, and it ends up with being a 6th foul. And we just can't have that happen. We have to keep him out of foul trouble. So I felt like he, I don't know, he gets kind of, it's not the same as like when CJ does it, but like he gets in these situations where they just compound themselves. Like he'll make a mistake and then he compounds it by making another mistake or whatever. And I feel like Jokic is just waiting for him, like on that post one, to do that, and you got to be a little bit more smarter not to lower your shoulder in those situations.
Yep. Shout out Shaggy Squid, another dono. It's a $5 dono. He says CJ forces up trash with 10 to 15 left on the shot clock. That's the issue. If Stotts is our coach next season, though, I won't be able to bring myself to watch. Yeah, if we lose the series, he's gone. And if he comes back, there's no way he comes back, bro. Like, I don't, bro. Like, if we lose the series, he's gone. All right, let's just leave it at that. But I don't know. Like, I get it, but it's not like our offense was getting anything better, and like it was just rat ball, and our offense wasn't getting anything better, and other guys were struggling too. So it's like, I don't know. It was almost like CJ had to kind of take it over because we're not running anything, we're not getting other guys going, and they're not playing well. So it was on CJ to try and get going, and he certainly tried. Maybe tried too hard. Didn't work. Shout out.
Oh,
What's up?
I think the one thing, I mean, unless CJ, turns it around, I think this series might, even if Olshey is still in charge, him playing this bad this series, I think might tilt the trading him or to not trade him, at least from Olshey's perspective. It might lead to him exploring more of those trades than he would have had we had good games from both Dame and CJ and just lost anyway.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. It would make for an interesting offseason. Shout out JP for a $5 donor. He says, not the same, but it feels like when Drexler left. I thought, thanks for trying. You're the best. Now go win your shit, brother. Rip City. Yeah, Dame is not Drexler. Screw Drexler. I mean, I don't know. That's more for Eric to talk on, but Dame is loyal, and we can give him a better chance to actually win a ring. So I want it to be a situation where we get him a good coach, maybe make a couple roster upgrades, and then we can realistically say, now let's go win your championship, because I think that's what it takes. I think with a good head coach, this team would win this series. The Suns are up 3-2. I think they'd have a legitimate chance of being the Suns, and I think they'd have a legitimate chance in the Western Conference Finals against the Mavs, the Clippers, the Jazz. Like, I think this roster is talented enough where, with Dame playing like how he is, we could go on a run to the NBA Finals. Like, I don't think this roster is untalented like other people think. I think this is a really good roster where if they played the right style of basketball consistently and if they were coached well, this wouldn't even be a series right now. Like, I think the series might be over right now if we had a better head coach. At least we're going back to Portland up 3-2 instead of down. We don't lose this game with a proper head coach. So yeah, I don't know. I want to see what this roster looks like under a good head coach, and I'm kind of curious to see what CJ looks like under a good head coach. CJ this season wasn't terrible defensively. Like, CJ improved a bit defensively. He was still below average, but I think CJ and Dame can both be average defenders if you have a good defensive coach over them. I think we should, I think we could be a borderline top 10 defense and the best offense in the league. And at that point, you got a team that can contend. And if you upgrade the roster a bit in the offseason, then you're looking at something even better. So that's the thing. It's not like there's some people out here that are just like, well, Dame needs to leave. Dame's going to yada, yada, yada. No, not at all. Dame needs a new head coach. That's what Dame needs.
And, okay, it was just, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, where Dame reiterated once again for all you, I'm just going to say it. If you say Dame's going to want to leave, you're a moron. You're dumb. He said at least 50 times that he's not going to leave. He doesn't want to take the easy way out. Respect the grind. He is going to try and win a ring here or die trying. And you can say, yeah, well, that was before he lost again. That's not what people like Dame do. Like, you're basically saying that you don't believe him. And this is just ridiculous. It was less than 2 weeks ago. He was saying he is going to die trying to have a parade down Broadway Street in Portland. He does not want to go anywhere else. He doesn't care if he doesn't get a ring here. He would rather lose here than go somewhere else and win a ring, because that's how much he wants to win here. He is now a Portlander. He wants to do it for this city. And yeah, you can say, oh, you're just wishful thinking, whatever. That's just, you're questioning his character when you say that. And I don't like that. And I'm sorry to call you a name, but this is what I think when I see all these comments. You're just like the stupid Laker fans who always put him in a Lakers jersey and stuff like that. He is not going anywhere. He is going to to try and win a ring here. He is not built that way. He does not want to go join like Kevin Durant and James Harden and win a ring. And oh, how awesome would that be? I finally get my ring, when it's meaningless because you had to join like the best team in the league to do that. It's end of the story. Just don't even bring it up. It's dumb and it's pointless, and he's not going to leave. So just stop it.
Yeah, and for the people that say, "Oh, well, I just want what's best for Dame." Well, Dame said what's best for him is staying here. Yeah. So you're not acting. Yeah, you're not wanting the best for Dame by saying he should leave when Dame has said he wants to stay. It just makes no sense. So I see a lot of people say it just doesn't make sense, and then other people say, "Whoa, athletes say that all the time, bro." If you don't think Dame is built different than Kevin Durant, I don't know what to tell you. Like that, like there's not even an argument to be had because you're just so casual. You're such a casual when it comes to Damian Lillard that you don't know better. Like the people that know Dame know he's not Kevin freaking Durant. So don't give me the athletes say this all the time. He's not Kyrie freaking Irving. Come on, man. Let's move on from that. Just ridiculous.
Speaking of Durant, did you hear what he said about he joined a losing franchise, not a winning one? Like, it's like, get out of here, man.
Yeah, a team that set the NBA regular season record for wins the prior season before it. Yeah, I mean, Dame is not Kevin freaking Durant. Come on now. Shout out Luke for a $5 dono. He says, I honestly don't even know why we have Stotts still. This whole season has been a circus, and it comes down to him. Right there with you, Luke. Right there with you. At least you have a platform that is willing to call out all the ridiculousness from this coaching staff, because it seems like not many others are willing to do so. So at least a couple people have come around. But I mean, we back up everything we say. Every criticism we back up. You don't necessarily have to agree, but if you're disagreeing, it's probably because you look at the game of basketball differently and you like Terry Stotts as a person. I don't know. Like, we explain our rationale more than anybody else when it comes to talking about the coaching. So I am confident that this is really the issue. That's why I speak with confidence, because I know what I'm talking about and I back up my stuff instead of speaking on my ass to try and cover for Terry Stotts. So,
and one more thing about the Dame thing. So like this, it's not about him leaving. It's about him being accepting of changes. So if after this season the coach gets changed, he'll say that that's a failure on his part, but he's not going to stand in the way of it happening. He's not going to go to to Olshey or whoever's making that decision and be like, no, Stotts needs to keep his job this time. Like, he's going to let it happen. Same with if they decide to move on from CJ, he would recognize that maybe that's something that needs to be done, but he's not going to like go out of his way to like advocate for those things happening, but he might be more agreeable with those things than he would have otherwise.
Yep. Shout out Near012 for a $10 dono. Says, it's been a while, but did CJ forget that it's okay to catch and shoot sometimes? He's a second option. The ball will come back to him, and you can see that ISO crap is rubbing off on Ant. 2, Ant is not doing ISO stuff because CJ is doing ISO stuff. That's all I'm going to say, Near012. Like, It's what Stotts requires these guards to do, because he doesn't run sets, he doesn't run action. Like, I don't understand. Like, do people think that Stotts is calling a play and CJ is just like, nah, and somebody cuts, as part of the play, and CJ's just like, nah, I'm gonna go one-on-one and shoot a contested step back? No. No, CJ's not dumb. He's not a dumb player. As much as some people want to make it out like he just has no idea how to play the game of basketball, CJ's not a dumb player, bro. You've never heard anything about him not being coachable, right? Like, whenever they do run stuff, like, it's like, okay, well, if he's just deciding to never run anything, then why occasionally will we see him execute a set properly and will run a set properly? Bro, it's not that CJ's sitting out there deciding not to run sets that Stotts is calling. You know what I mean? It's like the offense is so stagnant that somebody has to do something out of isolation, or else, like, I mean, like what else are they supposed to do when everybody's standing around? If they pass to somebody, that person is going to have to do something out of isolation. So that's the thing. It's like CJ will have to do something out of isolation. It'll get guarded. He'll pass to Ant. Nobody is moving, so then Ant has to do something out of isolation. That's basically how it ends up being, and that's how our guards play. So it's like people thought that, oh, we need a legitimate backup point guard to solve these problems off the bench. No, you bring in a Ricky Rubio, it's going to end up with Ricky Rubio freaking isolating and then kicking out to somebody who's guarded, and then they're going to isolate. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't an issue with like not having a backup point guard or a CJ issue or an Ant issue. It's the system. It's absolutely the system.
Yep. It's frustrating because, I mean, even a guy like Melo, you saw him tonight with a great pass to Rondae Hollis-Jefferson out of a double team. Like, these guys are not, like, you've never heard anything about them not being coachable. And I completely agree with that. I feel like, because, I mean, Stotts said it himself, the famous comment that I keep bringing up, like, oh, we don't need to focus on our ball movement or how many assists we get or whatever. So this isn't something that's even being emphasized. And then you see people like CJ's the biggest ball hog ever. He never passes the ball, but yet he has 7 assists. So imagine if he did pass the ball, or if he was in an offense that was predicated on ball movement and prioritized and emphasized that. Same with Melo, same with everyone on the team. Like, all these guys can pass, in my opinion, and it's just kind of frustrating that they're in an offense that has no one to pass to a lot of situations, because when you're going one-on-one or whatever and no one's cutting, no one's setting any off-ball picks or any action off-ball, there's also the problem with CJ sometimes has to shoot these shots because there's no one to pass to even if he wants to. And, I mean, you can point out specific plays where CJ, I think, does draw some of the defense and naturally create some offense because he draws so much attention, and he should pass more out of those situations. But when Stotts is expecting him to shoot, because that's the whole offense is CJ, get to your spot and shoot it. Like, that's the problem, not that CJ is this massive ball hog, which I would lean to say he is more towards ball hog than not being one. But at the same time, like, I mean, good players, like Dame, for example, you want him to be kind of a ball hog sometimes. Like, I wanted him to be a ball hog in both overtimes tonight. So, yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't think it's 100% on CJ, but that doesn't excuse him from having a terrible game tonight either.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's the same guy that carried us to a Game 7 win. You know what I mean? That's what you'll get with role players. And with a guy like CJ, you'll get great performances, you'll get bad ones. You know what I mean? That's a variable that I was talking about. That's why I talked about going into this game, controlling the controllables to the best of our extent, because you don't know who's going to play good, you don't know who's going to play bad. It ended up a lot of players played bad. But if we controlled the controllables, we would have won this game. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's a situation where, like, people expect CJ to make the right decision all the time, apparently. I don't know. Like, he's not necessarily the best decision maker. He's not Dame, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. Like, he did not have a good game, and we need him to be better. Absolutely. It's just, I don't know. I have a hard time being too hard on him when I feel like he's not being put in like, the easiest, like, the best position to succeed. You know what I mean? I feel like he's kind of being put in a tough spot, and then it's like he has a game like tonight where he doesn't respond well to it and makes some bad decisions and shoots some bad shots. It's like, well, I feel like he has a better game if you put him in a better spot. I said, what's not? I said role players and a guy like CJ. Not that CJ's a role player, but that's like complementary player. Yeah, obviously CJ's better than a role player.
He's our number 2.
Yeah, sure. Like, but that's, you know, like Dame. Even Dame doesn't have it every game. Dame was 1 for 10 in Game 4. But guess what? We moved the ball. Guess what? We played with a lot of intensity. We controlled the controllables to a good extent. And Dame's 1 for 10. And we win by 20. And then tonight, the controllables, like, a lot of the things we did well in Game 4, we don't do well in Game 5. And Dame has 55 points and we lose. Like, that's the thing. Is like, it shouldn't be a situation where, I don't know. I just have, I get what you guys are saying. I don't even necessarily disagree with, like, some of the problems with some of the decisions he makes. It's kind of just like, it shouldn't be a situation where we're that stagnant in the first place and we're requiring him to make something out of nothing as much as we do.
Yeah. Like Knight B says, why don't they pass the ball more? Blazers need more ball movement. I mean, how long have we been saying that, right?
I mean, how long have they been last in the league in assists? You know?
I mean, I have to correct you on that. They actually finished 29th in assists per game this year because they passed the New York Knicks by 0.1 at the last week of the season.
Oh, the Knicks, another team who is struggling in the playoffs offensively?
Yeah. Let me
Huh.
tell you though, if you look at assists per possession, Portland was dead last.
Oh
So
yeah, because
the
we
Knicks
play up.
just have
Yeah, yeah,
less
yeah.
possessions because they slow the ball down.
You're right.
Unlike offensive rating, that is actually affected by that.
Yeah.
So the year before, it was even worse last year. So dead last 2 years. Going back to 3 years ago, we were 26th 3 years ago in assists per possession, tied for 27th. Yeah. So, oh, and then 4 years ago, dead last again. Yeah. Yeah. 25th 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And
I mean, this is what this
the
team does.
first year without Aldridge, we were 19th, but basically roughly the same amount of assists per possession in the last 6 years, just varying on whether that's last or not. But
Hmm.
it hasn't really improved at all in those 6 years.
It's always been one of my biggest complaints with the team. It doesn't make sense, but
But assists don't correlate to wins. So.
yeah, our best two games in terms of ball movement we won, and one of them was a game where Dame was 1 for 10. So, surprise, surprise. Shout out to wait, where was I? Shout out to Andrew Miller, $5 donut. So CJ can control helping out, not. LOL. Yeah, I mean his performance is like his responsibility. I'm not trying to say it's not, but you're not. You can come out and do a good job coaching pretty much every game because it's just based on the decisions you make. Where somebody like CJ could make good decisions and miss shots, CJ could make bad decisions, and sometimes what looks like a bad decision isn't as bad of a decision because it's a position where the offense is just utter crap and is not going to get a better shot than what CJ is forcing up with 10 on the shot clock. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the thing is I feel like sometimes it looks worse than it actually is in terms of his decision making because of the way our offense is structured. So.
Yeah, I wonder if that was about his helping on defense, maybe.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
he can
but I mean, like,
control it.
but that's the thing is like nobody knows who's supposed to help and who's not supposed to help and who's supposed to rotate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's like if we have, I don't know, if it was a situation where guys knew what their responsibilities were, where they were supposed to be, when they were supposed to help, where they were supposed to rotate, then yeah, you blame CJ for not executing the game plan properly. But I've watched this team enough where it's just like the off-ball defense is completely random and completely clueless, and nobody has any idea what they're supposed to do. And when it's everyone, including a Robert Covington, that's how you know it's the coaching staff. That's how you know it's a game plan issue. Not guys not executing what they're supposed to be doing. It's guys not having any idea of what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, like Stotts is such a bad defensive coach that it's just like I don't know. It seems like these guys have no idea what they're supposed to be doing defensively, and it's not just CJ. It's literally everybody since Vanderpool has left. So I'm not going to blame any one individual. I'm going to blame the coaching staff on not getting these guys prepared enough to know when they're supposed to help, when they're supposed to rotate, what their defensive responsibilities are. And we're talking about basic defensive stuff here. We're talking about stuff that, like, we were coached on in college. We were coached on in high school. Like, bro, this isn't just an NBA thing. This is, like, basic stuff. Help side responsibilities and rotating out to the perimeter when there's a kick-out pass. That's basic defense. Off-ball positioning. That's a shell drill you'll run in middle school and elementary school. Like, we're talking about basic stuff here that this team doesn't seem to be coached up well on. So
I'm kind of a nerd. Like, I went to Game 4, and I'm watching this, and it was obvious to me on pick and rolls how many times the person being screened and the person guarding the guy doing the screening were not on the same page and were expecting the other person to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened time and time again. Happened again tonight, It was just a little more obvious when you're in the stands and can, like, focus on that. So that's something that has plagued this team once again for years. They're not in sync. They don't understand. They're not prepared to know what to do. They're not on the same page. And until these guys get on the same page when you're playing against NBA level talent and against good teams that take advantage of those kind of situations, whether it's Jamal Murray, if he's healthy, or Austin Rivers or Monte Morris or whoever. This is why it doesn't really matter who we're playing against. We always get burnt because these guys are not in sync and they do not consistently run the same thing, and then they get mixed up, and then one person's doing one thing and the other person's doing another thing, and then they get mad at each other because the other person was supposed to do it. They thought they were going to be doing something else, and you can't have a good defense in the NBA when you're that lost that consistently.
Yep. Shout out to near 012 $5 dono. He says, "Oh, I agree, and it's not all CJ, but bro, pass the ball and get open shots. That's easy." I mean, if he passes the ball, it's a guy who's guarded standing at the 3-point arc who then has to go one-on-one. You know what I mean? It's not going to result necessarily in open shots. Like, there was a couple times he could have hit a guy that was open and didn't see him, but you can't expect guys to make the right read 100% of the time. You know what I mean? So, like, you can get on him for that, you know, and I don't disagree with it. It's just, like, that's the thing is when it comes to players, like, Dame didn't make every shot tonight, you know, CJ didn't make every right read tonight. Like, you can't expect your players to come out and make the right read 100% of the time when you throw them into an offense that just is completely stagnant, no ball movement, no player movement. And you can't just expect them to make the right decision 100% of the time. That's why you have to come out with an offensive structure where you're not requiring a guy like CJ to make so much happen against a set defense. You know, you got to make it easier on the guys, in my opinion, and we didn't do that. So that's where my irritation lies. I want to see CJ play under a good offensive coach that utilizes ball movement, player movement, good offensive action, because I think this dude could be Bradley Beal light. You know what I mean? And I don't think this dude is as bad defensively as people think. He's not good, but he's also playing on a team that's just has no idea what they're doing defensively and is terribly defensively coached. So people can call it excuses, but like if you're gonna call it an excuse in chat, tell me why I'm wrong. Because if it's just an excuse, then it should be easy to explain why it's not legitimate. Because I think it's legitimate and it's how I look at it. So if you look at it differently, I am open to you saying why. So I'm cool with that.
Here's the problem for me. If you're a good coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see CJ going under the pick, and Morris hits a three, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was completely doing the wrong thing, right? Like, I don't know, they played the 72 games. This is game 5 of the playoffs, so 77 games. You would think, like, at some point, it would be taught, like, to do what the coach wants him to do, right? So it's almost like he is doing that because that's what the coach wants him to, and then it looks bad, and then and then everyone blames CJ because of that. But the problem is, so if you were a good coach and early in the season you saw CJ go through a pick the wrong way, you would point that out, and then if he does it again, you would lay into him. You'd be like, dude, we just talked about this. Like, I told you not to do that. And by this time, if he's still doing it, he wouldn't be playing because, like, he's just obviously ignoring what. But our lack of preparation for details like that is just, like, inexcusably bad. And it's just, I cannot believe an NBA coaching staff does not challenge these guys to be better. And that's part of the problem is we're constantly trying to make up for Dame and CJ on defense instead of just saying, hey, Dame, play better. Like, you need to step up and get through this pick. You can't just cover for you every time you don't get through a pick. And these are the kind of attention to details that a good coaching staff would make throughout the season, so that at this point in the season, you're not getting lost on those picks, you're not getting screened too easily, you're not having to switch because someone's not getting through them fast enough. And that's my problem. Once again, with this coaching staff is, like, yeah, you can say, why is CJ going under that pick? Well, because that's probably what Stotts wanted him to do in that situation, and we don't have any kind of way to prevent him from doing that. If he goes over the pick, he's probably going to get picked, and then Cantor is mismatched on Morris, so he probably hits the three anyway. So what does it matter? Like, we just don't have any any kind of system that's set up to challenge these guys or to teach them the right technique on what to do in that situation, so that when we are in these key playoff moments in an overtime game, that they know what to do in those situations, and they look completely lost, like they've never played defense before. And it's just, I mean, it's crazy to me that this coaching staff has been given 9 years with this crap.
Yeah, people just gotta stop making personnel excuses, because this team has the same exact issues no matter who the personnel is. Got somebody in chat saying you can't just bring in a coach and all of a sudden players start moving the ball. You need the right players for the right system. Well, you can bring in a coach and he can run better actions and he can run better sets and more sets, so that we have some structure and then can provide some options off of that, and that'll just naturally foster ball movement because you're actually running something. But that's the thing, it's like, we do not have the worst personnel in the league when it comes to potentially moving the ball, yet we're last in the league in terms of assists per possession. You know, like, and we've constantly been the worst team in the league for years when it comes to ball movement and player movement, and our personnel does not suggest that that's how it should be. So it's not a personnel problem. It's a coaching problem. Let me get through the rest of the donos.
And just real quick, so
Yeah.
we've seen plenty of examples of defensive coaches coming in, changing the defense. Tom Thibodeau. We've seen examples of coaches that have ball movement oriented offenses, or that stress ball movement. Look at Nate McMillan this year. I mean, like, there's cases where coach absolutely makes a difference if he emphasizes the right thing and teaches the guys the right thing.
Yep, the coach who was coaching Atlanta before Nate McMillan is a Stotts apologist, by the way. You know, if you know, you know. But yeah, so if you don't know, don't worry about it. But if you know, you know. Shout out to Dro, $5 dono. He says, our offense sucks. We need to run down picks off ball screens and cut to the basket when Dame is being doubled. We can't rely on CJ to be Dame. Shaking my head. And it's just like, it's so ridiculous. Like, I see Austin Rivers just face guarding, smothering Dame, and we don't even go and try and run a screen for him. Like, okay, maybe like that is a little bit on the players. Like, we should be running some sort of set, some sort of action. So that's where the coaching staff lies. If I'm Robert Covington, I'm going up to Dame, and I'm just trying to set him a screen just to get Dame loose, just to get Dame the ball. But then it becomes a situation where Dame is just being guarded 35, 40 feet away from the rim, and we're probably running a pick and roll for him, and he's getting trapped, and he has to make something happen out of it because we're not running a set, you know? So it's just so frustrating where Dame's hot as any player I've ever seen in my life, and we can't even get him the ball, and we don't make an effort because it's just like Dame's off the ball, and we're not running anything, and they're face guarding him. It's like, come on.
He has to shoot a 30-foot high-arcing bank shot because he can't get a good shot. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And it's like, if he's getting that much attention, use it to get other guys good shots, and we didn't do that. We didn't do that in the overtimes. So, yeah, I mean, other guys didn't show up. There was some shots that, you know, Norman Powell can make that he missed, and, you know, it's not like they got all 19 of the other guys shot terrible shots. You know, they got a couple guys got some decent looks that missed, but it's just like we should have been getting much higher quality looks for our role players and Dame, and we didn't. It was like they just ratcheted up the pressure and started face guarding Dame, and we just wilted away. Unless Dame was hitting insane shot after insane shot, and that's always been one of my biggest issues with this team. So shout out to Drove for another dono, $2 dono. Says CJ and Melo have to chuck up shots, no movement. I agree. That's how our bench plays. Anthony kind of fits into that, and I don't think it's any of their faults respectively, even though CJ and Melo are definitely ISO players. I think it's more of a systematic issue, as I've explained. Shout out near 012 for another dono, $5 dono. Says, well, we're one game away from saying bye to Stotts, Melo, and maybe CJ, all ball stoppers, all ISO people. It only makes sense, and that is the silver lining, is one more loss in the series and Stotts is gone, and we can have some hope for next year. And honestly, I know a lot of people probably don't want to hear this, but it could be a situation where losing this series makes it more likely for us to win a championship with Dame. Because I don't see how we're going to win a championship with Dame with Terry Stotts as our head coach. This year, maybe, we have a potential road where, like, you got the Phoenix Suns in the second round, then maybe the Jazz in the Western Conference Finals, like, and then, I don't know, maybe the Sixers or the Bucks or even the Nets, who's a really bad defensive team in the finals. Like, we would have a chance this year for sure. If we figured some of these issues out. But I don't know. It could be a situation where we get the coach we needed, much like Golden State did when they went from a 6th seed with Mark Jackson to a top overall seed and a dominant team with Steve Kerr and won championships. Like, that's, if we lose this series, that's kind of the silver lining, is maybe we get a coach that gives us a better chance in future years to win a championship than Terry Stotts. So that is the silver lining that we didn't have last year.
While wasting 1 year of Dame at his peak performance is the downside.
Well, I mean, it's almost like we've already wasted many years, and it's like this year's already a waste with Stotts anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We're already wasting it this year, so I don't know. Like, that's just the silver lining. That's the silver lining to all this. And if we come back and win the series, which I don't think is out of the question, I mean, this is the same position we were against the same team in 2019, then we come back and win the series, and Phoenix is up 3-2 against the Lakers. Anthony Davis is hurt. Maybe you get a second-round series against Phoenix, and you got a chance there. I mean, like, that's the thing is we still have a chance in this series. I'm not saying the series is done, but if we lose this series, there is a silver lining. Shout out to... Let's see, which one's the next one? Shout out to Max Buckley, $5 donor, says, I don't remember who got me into Blazer fandom, but I hate them forever. This ish is an endless cycle of pain. Love you guys. I feel that, but also we've had some good moments. I mean, we have Damian Lillard. A lot of franchises don't have a guy like a Damian Lillard. We've seen, at least I've seen, 2 series-winning buzzer beaters. Some of the best moments you could experience as a fan, Dame has provided us. So there's some really good moments. There's a lot of pain too. It's a roller coaster. Why? It is a lot of really high highs and really low lows as a Blazer fan. It's definitely a lot more of a roller coaster ride.
I scared my family and my newish dog very much tonight with all my screaming, and I mean, can't get much higher than watching Dame erase a 9-point deficit in overtime with 3 crazy 3-pointers in like a minute, and then after hitting a incredible game-tying 3 in overtime or in the fourth quarter, and then coming out hitting a 3 in double overtime. Man, like that was it's so frustrating because it should have been such a joyful night for us Blazer fans, and we should be sitting here talking about one of the greatest playoff performances in the history of the NBA, and us taking a 3-2 lead and just needing to win one of these next 2 games. It's just frustrating that we're talking about now having to win 2 games in a row just to even win this series.
Yep. Shout out to Near012, another $5 donor. He says, we started out shooting 4 3-pointers in this game. That's so corny. Drive to the basket. Gosh, it's annoying seeing how soft this team is. Yeah, we came out. Our first 4 shots were contested 3-pointers with considerable time left on the shot clock. And
then we missed our first 8 shots, I think. Yeah,
Came out of this game terrible. If we come out of this game right, we'd probably win this game. So, yeah, that was definitely frustrating. Shout out Mills Woes for a $5 or a $10 donor. He says, can we win the series with how we are now? We can talk about how bad it was tonight, but we have a good window. We could avoid Lakers, Clippers, and there's no Golden State. This could be our best shot. I mean, if we win this series, could be a good shot, but still, it's like what happens when we go up against a better team than Denver that has 2 guards that would kill drop scheme. You know what I mean? And I don't know. That's the thing. It's like Phoenix is more talented than Denver is, and we're struggling to beat Denver. Like, I don't know. It's all these issues are going to cause us to lose games in the next series, and if we somehow win that one in the series after that. So that's the thing. We need these issues fixed, and it could be a situation where it's impossible for us to win a championship even with an easier path due to these issues, and we need Stotts to go. So I mean, we can still win the series. I mean, we'll just wait and see. I mean, you got Game 6 at home. You win that, and it's a Game 7 on their floor, and we've won that in the past. It just should not be the situation we're in right now, so that's kind of the disappointing thing. Shout out Zach Landia for a $5 dono. He says, on the bright side, we're 1 loss away from that Stotts pack. Yeah, we're 1 loss away from him packing his bags. Yeah, that's the silver lining. Shout out BR Swerve for a $5 dono. He says, I hate life, man. 1 for 19 field goal other than Damon OT. I can't live here anymore. Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah, for those that know that stat, so Dame in overtime and double overtime had 17 points on 6 of 8 shooting. And all other Portland Trailblazers combined in those 2 overtimes had 2 points on 1 of 19 shooting.
Yep.
Just brutally bad.
Yep. Shout Cowles and $2 dono. It could be worse. We could be Maple Leafs fans. I don't follow hockey, but I heard Maple Leafs have had a rough run. So, yeah.
They blew a 3-1 series
lead. They like the Clippers of the NHL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, at least here's the positive thing. If we do lose this series, I don't see how anybody can with a straight face say that Dame is not a playoff performer and that it's Dame's fault. You know,
yeah, I mean, they had the one bad game, which we won by 20.
Yeah, which was our best win, you know. So you might have some people try and say, when Dame plays insanely great, it's bad for them somehow. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But the dude has put any doubt of him as a playoff performer to bed. Absolutely to bed. So that is another good thing that's come out of this series so far.
But yeah, can't capitalize it.
Can't capitalize it. Yeah, so...
Did you watch the local broadcast or NBA TV?
I can't watch NBA TV. Were you able to watch NBA TV?
No, I watched the local broadcast.
Yeah, because it's blacked out. So.
Well, it's not a home game though, wasn't it?
It's still blacked out. If you cannot watch a Portland Trailblazer game on NBA TV, it's not possible. Like, it's automatically blocked out because they want you to watch the local broadcast because they have the rights essentially over NBA TV. Is like kind of how that works. So I had to watch Jordan Kent.
Did you hear his comments? I think this was in the first half. He made the very poor analogy that Dame was building a house by making all these shots brick after brick. I didn't understand that at all. It was after a made shot. He said he was building a house, something about the comeback. He was building a house to come back in this game brick after brick or something. I was like, that was like the worst analogy you could possibly. I don't know if anyone else heard that.
Dame is making shot brick after brick. Oh my god, man! Can we? I'm so tired of listening to Jordan Kent. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. I am so over it. Please just go out and get like a Gus Johnson. I would love to have like a Gus Johnson as our play-by-play guy. I'd be excited for a local broadcast. I miss Calabro so much. Jordan, I cannot with the local broadcast anymore, Eric.
Well, I mean, you could only have one more game of it, and it's on. I think that game is on TNT now, right?
Thank goodness. Who watches the local broadcast over the nationally televised games? Anybody in here? If so, I question your sanity.
I'm sure there's people who do.
Yeah. Anyway. Shout out to Alex Pasco, $5 Australian dono. He says, if CJ is on the trade block in the offseason, who can we realistically get, or who would you think would be a fit as a different second option for Dame? I have no idea. There's not really a lot of targets available that make sense to trade CJ for. Like, I don't. Like, the one was like Chris Middleton, but Milwaukee dominated Miami in the first round, so if they, win in the second round, they're definitely not going to trade Chris Middleton for CJ McCollum. I think that ship has kind of sailed. Other than that, I don't know. There's nobody that really makes a whole lot of sense.
Yep. And I just looked it up. Our game is officially the 5 o'clock game on Thursday, and the Suns-Lakers are the 7:30 game.
Ew. If I'm going to that game, that's going to mess with Blazers Uprise Live.
Actually, I'm hoping you do go to that game because, that's a very bad time for me on Thursdays as well.
What do you mean?
Well, the post-game show as well. My son has baseball on Thursday nights.
I'll still do the post-game show. I'll just go live like 20.
No, I'm saying that would be good for me if it was a little later than normal.
Yeah, like, if I go to the game on Thursday, I will try and stream on Twitter while I'm driving home. I'll just put my phone in the phone holder and stream on Twitter. And I don't know. If you guys want that. If you guys think that would be dope, just to kill the time, the 20 minutes before the stream. But... yeah, we could do Blazers Uprise Live Wednesday night, Eric. What do you think about that?
We could, yeah. I had a bunch of people ask me where the pregame show was today.
We only stream on Mondays and Thursdays for Blazers Uprise Live. Sometimes they end up being a pregame show because, like, Thursday it would normally be we'd stream on Blazers Uprise Live at 3:30 and it'd be a pregame show. Today's a
I'm fine
Tuesday, so
either
we
doing
streamed
it
last
tomorrow
night.
night or going live like at 3 or so and just having like a 45-minute stream so you can get to the game.
Yeah, I would prefer not to stream like right before I'm going to the game. That's just stressful.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night would be good, I think, on an off night. Yeah, tomorrow night would be good. So plan on Blazers Uprise Live tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. or so. That's the plan right now. And then Game 6 stream on Thursday. And then if we win that, Game 7 stream on Saturday. And we will see if our season is extended.
We got to give the people what they want now, though.
Yep. What's that?
Interviews.
We'll do one interview. Who do you guys want?
I think that's just your stream, NBA Highlights 10.
Who do you guys want for the interview? Let me know in chat.
3 votes for Dame, 2 votes for Stotts, 4-3, 4-4, 5-4 Dame. We're only 95 minutes. Let's do Dame and Stotts. It's pretty split between the two.
I don't want to do both. I'm hungry. I want to order DoorDash.
Let's just do both and wrap it up.
Well, how long?
Gotta give the people what they want, man.
Alright. Well, let's just see. Let's just see which ones are on YouTube. Stotts isn't on YouTube. So. Alright, let's watch Dames. Sure, we'll watch both, I guess. We'll start with Dames.
We don't have to like spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah. Let me pull it up here. Alrighty.
Emotionally, where you're at after this?
Tough loss, man. It's do or die now. So we got to win both of the next 2 games if we want our season to continue. As simple as that.
But after what you gave, just personally, like
It don't matter. We lost the game. So at this point, all that matters is we can't lose another game in this series. So we go out there, we play to win the game, and we came up short. So we going back home. It's a must win, or else our season's over. And then we got to come back here and win on their floor again. So that's what it is.
Adrian McCord, coin.
How do you go about putting this game behind you? I know it was a frustrating loss on more ways than one. How do you go about moving past this with the Game 6 just 48 hours from now?
I'm a grown man. We lost the game. It ain't my first time losing. And if I don't put it behind me and, you hold on to it, it's going to get in the way of what we need to do in the next one. So that won't be hard to do at all.
Aaron Fentress, the Oregonian.
You said yesterday that you were talking with teammates about how this is the one and about how you guys had to be able to overcome adversity. You guys were down 22. You guys were down 9, I think, in overtime. You guys kept coming back until the very end. So are you at least pleased with, I know you lost, but are you at least pleased that you guys showed resiliency in this game, whereas you didn't in 2 other losses?
Yeah, it's something to be proud of, but
Sorry, I completely spaced out on that question. I'm going to replay it.
This is the one. And
because it's good old Aaron Fentress.
Dumbass.
That won't be hard to do at all.
Are you happy you came back even though you lost?
Aaron Fentress, the Oregonian.
Surprise.
Even has a
you
stupid
said yesterday
laugh
that you
turn.
were talking with teammates about how this is the one and about how you guys had to be able to overcome adversity. You guys were down 22. You guys were down 9, I think, in overtime. You guys kept coming back until the very end. So are you at least pleased with, I know you lost, but are you at least pleased that you guys showed resiliency in this game, whereas you didn't in 2 other losses?
Bro, get this
Yeah,
man
it's
out of
something
press
to be proud
conferences.
of, but ain't no moral victory. We needed this game, so it's a given that's what the effort should look like. We shouldn't have, been in a 20-point hole, but that's on our team collectively. It wasn't enough resistance defensively
Thank you.
to start the game, starting with me on the ball. we dug ourselves a hole, but we dug out of it. And, playoff basketball, it's a game of runs. You got to want it. And, we showed that we wanted it. We fought back. And all the way to the end of the game, we had our opportunities. And, we just didn't take advantage of them, and they did.
Somebody that takes responsibility. He's
Yep.
not pointing to
If
himself.
someone does.
He took responsibility for his lack of defense on the ball. Said they as a team need to be better defensively. Yeah.
Yep.
So. Yeah, I mean, I wish Stotts would take some accountability, but, Stotts won't. Dame can almost carry his ass to a win and have the best playoff performance in franchise history. He'll still take accountability for something that he could have done better, but you will never hear Stotts doing that. We'll watch his interview after this. If somebody could DM me the interview to the Stotts link, we'll watch it afterwards, but it'll be nice. It'll actually be nice to kind of contrast this to Terry Stotts.
Yeah.
Casey Holdall, trailblazers.com.
Damian, how did you think you guys performed as a team in the 2 overtimes?
I thought we fought. Was it the first overtime or the second one? I can't remember where we was down 9 or something. Was that the second one?
I think it was the first one.
We fight to get to that point where we get in overtime, and then we fall into another hole, and we dig out of it. When you're on another team's floor and you get that extra period, you got to come out strong and you got to come out sharp and try to jump out ahead of them so you can, almost play with a lead because the energy is behind them, the crowd is behind them. Most teams get the benefit of the doubt at home, and it's important to get off to a good start in overtimes. And the first overtime we definitely didn't, and then the second one, maybe if the first minute was okay. I don't think either team really did much in the first minute, but we fought and came up short.
Dwight James, NBC Sports Northwest.
How frustrating is it to see starters not on the floor?
Yo, Mike breaking up. I didn't hear the question.
Sorry, Dwight, your audio is not working. If you text Jim or I your question, we can ask it. Coming back, or we'll go to Jamie Hudson with NBC Sports Northwest.
Dame, having to dig yourself out of that 22-point hole, do you think that played a factor in just being able to outlast Denver in this one?
No, I don't think so. We competed to the end. It's I think when you dig yourself a hole, sometimes the issue is being able to get over the hump, and we got over the hump. A few times. I think in regulation we had a 6-point lead at one point. In overtime, I think the second overtime, we came out and scored the first basket. We had a lead to start the second overtime. So, once you even up the game and you take a lead, you back in it. You back at square one. So, that takes a lot of energy, but the season is on the line. So it is what it is. Everything counts, and you got to do what you got to do. So I wouldn't say. Obviously, that's not ideal to dig that type of hole, but we had our chance to win the game, and that's all that matters.
Coming back to Jason Quick with The Athletic.
Dame, did you experience some fatigue in the second OT? You didn't take a shot on the last 5 possessions.
I was a little bit fatigued, but the defense was – they were swarming in, and I was just making the right play. We got a lot of guys that can make shots, and when I collapse the defense and guys are sprinting into the paint, I'm going to make the right play. So it wasn't like I just wasn't shooting because I was tired. If the opportunity was there, I would have shot it. But when the defense collapsed the way they did, the right play is to kick it out, especially when we got guys that can make shots.
Aaron Fentress, go ahead.
What'd you think of the 5th foul on Nurkic when he set the screen? And did you think he was frustrated about that and maybe went a little too aggressively at Gordon to get the 6th one?
I didn't see. He was handing me the ball, and I was going up to shoot the ball. So I didn't even see his 5th foul, and I don't remember the 6th one. But, it's game 5 of the playoffs, man. Both teams' season is pretty much on the line, and one of our main guys, you call it a damn moving screen or whatever they call when they do the same. They doing the same thing. They hooking, they moving on the screens, stepping to the side. I mean, everybody does the same things, and we penalize Nurk for doing the same shit that everybody else do. Like, come on, man. We work too hard to get in these positions for like something like that, and then the next foul, he got the game. So I mean, I didn't see it, but I know that those plays happen every other possession, especially in the playoffs. So man, that's BS.
Dame, can you?
Well, I mean, he ain't wrong, man. He is not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to everybody who sent me a link. Appreciate it.
Yay, Stotts.
You can run like there's no tomorrow. But tomorrow always comes.
All right, if you have questions for Coach Stotts, please use the raise hand feature. Coach, first question is coming from Krista Saltes with Sport DNA.
Hello, Coach. Hope you're doing well. How could you explain the two phases of your team? The first one until the middle of the second quarter, and the second from the middle of the second quarter until the end of the game. How could you explain that? And what
I can't explain that.
And what would you like to carry on from that game about effort-wise?
Well, there's no question how we played after we got down 22. We were a different team. It reminded me of Game 2. It's just we have to sustain it like we did in Game 4 at our place. Come out ready. We knew that they were going to come out with a lot of energy, with the crowd behind them, and we had a bad start. And what we have to take away from this is how we played after we got down 22 to put ourselves in a position to win a game. That's what it's going to take in Game 6.
Next question is coming from Jason Quick with The Athletic.
Let me know if you want me to pause this at any time, by the way.
All right, I'm just sick of this guy.
Yeah, so am I.
Coach, I know you guys are all hurting right now, but kind of taking the big picture look at it and what Dame did tonight. I mean, do you have any empathy for him for what he gave you and to come up with a loss?
Look, it was the best playoff performance I've ever seen, and he gave it his all. He made a lot of shots, but look, I think he gave it his all. We're all disappointed, so I have empathy for Dame. I have empathy for anybody on our team, but now's not the time for empathy. Now's the time to regroup and come back and get Game 6. We can't feel sorry for ourselves. Can't feel sorry for anybody else. We gotta be ready to play Game 6.
Jamie Hudson, NBC Sports Northwest.
Coach, can you try to put into words what that game took out of you guys? I mean, obviously playing so many minutes. So just what it took out of your players, both mentally and physically.
I can't answer that right now. It's hard to say.
Leonardo Torres, El Comercial.
Can't answer a lot of questions. So.
Hi, Coach. It's Leonardo Torres from Peru. Hope you're well. Coach, despite the loss, looking at Lillard's big performance, does that motivate you to think that you can win this series in 7 games?
There's no question that we feel we can win the series. It's been a competitive series. Tonight was a hell of a game. And, it's pretty obvious we're two evenly matched teams. There's no question that we think we can win Game 6 and come back here and win Game 7. We have to have that mentality.
Rafael Haynes, 3-point conversion.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about how or what would be the message you would give your team after a game like this?
There's not a lot of message to give right now. It's an emotional loss. We got to regroup and get ready for Game 6. We know that we have to come out at the start much better and sustain what we did for longer periods.
Agent McCord, coin.
So, Coach, you talk about needing to regroup. What is the first step to doing that tonight and into the morning?
Does anybody want to talk about what happened in the freaking game or not?
Nope.
Like, we're just gonna sit here, like, a whole 58 minutes of basketball just happened, and we don't even want to freaking talk about it, dude. What are these questions, man? Talk about the game. Ask him why he couldn't run anything for Dame to get him a clean look in the second overtime. Ask him what his strategy was when they started literally face-guarding Dame and smothering him and hugging him off the ball in the second overtime. Ask something about the damn game, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
None of these questions are about the freaking game, dude. I'm done. Like, I don't want to listen to him say the same thing. We gotta regroup. But we'll listen to the rest of it. I don't know. It's what the people wanted, so.
Coach, you talk about needing to regroup. What is the first step to doing that tonight and into the morning?
Well, we'll get on a plane, we'll go home and sleep, and then we'll meet tomorrow.
Why are you smiling? Get that
Dwight Chains.
Get that dumb ass smile off your face, you freaking clown. Bro, thanks for putting me through this, guys. I don't want to watch this guy. Why? I can't take it, bro. I can't. I just almost cussed on stream, bro. Like I literally just want to cuss him out right now, but I don't cuss on stream.
I've already cussed, though.
I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't do it, you know? Like, why are you smiling, bro? Oh my god, dude.
I mean, people in chat say it best. He has the best seats in the house to sit there and watch the game. And he's basically a glorified fan at this point.
Yep.
At least a fan would yell or cheer or, like, try and motivate. Yeah.
The
I
more
honestly feel like we'd be better with, like, no coach or...
Yep. By the way, the more something gets spammed, the less likely I am to do it, by the way. If it's one person spamming, telling me to do something, I'm less likely to do it. But I don't cuss. I don't cuss on the streams, man. I don't know. I don't know who's watching the stream, like, at their...
But you said at the beginning of this show that you...
Yeah, I said it might be. I said it might be NSFW, because I didn't know if I could control myself. But, like... I don't know. I didn't know if I wanted to control myself. I can control myself, you know. So, but I don't know who's watching it. You know, maybe they're watching it out loud and they have their mother by them or something. And I'm not just gonna sit here and start screaming what I want to at Terry Stotts. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
My poor mom's ears.
Your poor mom's ears, especially for your mom. I can't do that to her. Shout out to your mom. Anyway, let's watch the end of this. Let's see if he gets asked a question about the basketball game that happened tonight.
It's NBC Sports Northwest.
Sorry, Terry, if you've already answered this, my internet dropped. But your team seems so good with their backs to the wall and getting into tough situations and being able to play with that sort of frenetic energy to get out of it. Can you summon that up earlier? I mean, do you feel that sometimes that you just need to find that gear a little sooner in the game?
I thought we did in game 2, in game 3, and we certainly did in game 4.
What do you mean? Your backs were against the wall all of game 2, bruh, or all of game 3. Like, what are you talking about? Quit being a disingenuous. Oh my god, bro. Game 3. Game 3 was a lot like this one in terms of us fighting from behind, coming back, making it a close game, and then losing at the end. It was a lot like this game. So, like, God.
Game 3 is the one where we were up like 26-20, and then Nurk subbed out with like 5-something left, and they went on a 19-4 run or something like that. Yeah.
Yep. Just terrible answer.
Energy to get out
terrible
of it.
Answer.
Can you summon that up earlier? I mean, do you feel that sometimes that you just need to find that gear a little sooner in the game?
I thought we did in game 2, in game 3, and we certainly did in game 4. And we have to. I mean, we don't have a choice but to do that. And yes, we can.
Prove it.
Jason Quick, The Athletic.
Coach, I know that there was a lot of, momentous plays, but is there one particular one that kind of sticks with you and that you're like, dang, we needed that, or that you felt was really big?
Well, I mean, finding a way to put ourselves in position for Dame to tie it up twice. It wasn't looking good either time, and we found ways to get into position for Dame to make those 2 shots. So the 2 shots were incredible shots, and but what it took to get ourselves in a position to even be able to get that shot. So I don't know if it's one play, but if you're talking one play, it's the 2 shots that Dame hit to tie it up twice.
I was kind of thinking the offensive rebound
only
that
Stotts
had.
would.
Go ahead.
Only Stotts would make this about something that was a good play when, like the way Jason framed the question was like, I was expecting him to say like the Rocco missed dunk or, one of CJ's missed runners in the lane or something, like
it was basically
something that cost the game. But instead he's like, oh, look at this. I put the team in a position for Dame to make these shots. It was great coaching. We just didn't win.
Yep. I mean, Jason Quick basically asked it like, what was the play that got away that you guys really felt like you needed? And he's like, Dame made threes, guys.
And it got to Joker, and he threw the pass just over Robert. And the offensive rebound that Ennis had, but then it got to Joker, and he threw the pass just over Robert. I mean, talk about a game of inches,
Yeah, no, that's that one. I don't know about that one.
That was the one Porter hit a 3.
Yeah, well, that was we weren't supposed to be doubling on that one anyway. So, yeah, it's we gave up 3-quarter threes that hurt us in situations that we weren't doubling, and so that did hurt.
I love how he just admitted exactly what I was saying, Eric, that this team has no idea what to do defensively.
He doesn't even know.
Wait, so when we had Kanter on Jokic, you're still wait. So you were still trying to let Jokic go 1-on-1 against Kanter and Melo and Rocco instead of providing some sort of. Oh my goodness, bro.
Not his fault. The players just double teamed randomly without his consent. Like, he didn't want them to do that.
It's almost like the players are like, yeah, we can't let Kanter guard Jokic 1-on-1, but our dumbass coach is trying to tell us to do it. So screw it, though. We're gonna get screwed if we do it. So I got to go double. And then Stotts calls the timeout. Do not double. Let Kanter guard him 1-on-1. That's our only chance to win. And the players
we can never double Jokic ever again, because the one time we did, it didn't work out, idiots.
Yeah, on a play where Rocco could have easily rotated back out to Porter and we would have been fine, and he wouldn't have even gotten a 3 up, but Rocco decided to jump for the ball and missed it and then fell.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Stay on the ground and close out right, and that's
exactly.
a different story, I think.
I mean, I get it if he thinks he can get to it. I kind of get it, but it's like he couldn't. So, yeah, I mean, he just rotates out to Porter. We're fine there. And that was a good double. But apparently our guys are doubling when they're not supposed to be, and I guess more guys are going rogue than just Nurkic, man. I guess everybody is just going rogue defensively. I mean, isn't that basically what I said? Like, guys don't know what they're supposed to do and what their responsibilities are? I mean, he just admitted it. So if anybody was disagreeing with me, he just admitted it for you. That's why I'm laughing at this. It's just like, bro, it's funny how he, like, admits, like, yeah, these guys are doing things offensively they weren't supposed to be doing. It's like they have no idea what to do. You're a terrible defensive coach. You have no idea how to scheme properly in certain situations, and you're so bad that certain guys are doing certain things while other guys are on a completely different page, and nobody has any idea what the defensive game plan is. Or it's to the point where your defensive game plans are so bad, guys are going rogue because they know that they're going to get screwed if they execute what you want them to do. I mean, at this point, get the hell out of Portland. You're a terrible coach. I'm done with you.
To that point that people are just going rogue, that was norm on that place.
Yeah. So
he's used to having actual game plans where you actually try to stop the other team from scoring instead of just letting them do whatever the heck they want.
Yep. Shout out RIP Blazers. He dropped $2 donos. One is just laughing and clown emojis. The other one, I forgot what it said, but I'll read it off after this. We got 8 seconds left. Let's just play the rest of this.
Thanks, Coach. We're going to wrap there.
All right, thank you.
Oh, yep, there. Thank goodness. Bye. Let me get that down. Cool.
We might only have one more of those left. Sorry.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Oh, the first RP Blazers donor says, not that we dug out of the hole, I dug us out. Yeah, that's what Dame should have been saying, because he kept saying we, and it was basically just him. But, yeah.
But Dame holds himself accountable, unlike the coach.
Yep.
So, I want to point out just one thing Stotts said.
Mm-hmm.
He said, these are his exact words, right? I disagree with these, but from his own mouth, this is an evenly matched series, right? So what's the difference in the series then if it's evenly matched?
Exactly.
It's the coaching. So he just admitted to you that talent-wise, on the floor, it's equal. Like I said, I disagree. I think we have more talent than them on the floor right now. There's no way we should be losing a series with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum to a backcourt of Facu Campazzo and Austin Rivers starting. But even if you want to ignore all that and just say, okay, you're right, evenly talented, matched rosters, then he's getting absolutely obliterated coaching wise, and that is I mean, he just admitted that the coaching's the problem, not the talent. So
yep.
Straight from his mouth.
Yep. Done with them. Done. Just done. Just I mean, bro, if we gotta trade CJ to get rid of Stotts, like I'm cool with like trading CJ if it means getting rid of Stotts at this point. There's all the people that think it's a CJ problem. I am cool with getting rid of CJ to get rid of Stotts. You know what I mean? It's crazy how people make CJ out to be the problem with this team. It's absolutely absurd to me, man. Like, our defense doesn't suck because we have CJ McCollum on the team. Like, swapping CJ McCollum out for a good defender is not going to take our defense from 29th ranked to all of a sudden top 10. You know what I mean? Like, bro, people make him the scapegoat for literally every issue with this team. And he didn't play well tonight. And yeah, it would help our defense to have somebody better defensively. But when are people going to realize that it's not the personnel? It's what I've been saying for 2 years. And everybody was saying, oh, what is Stotts supposed to do with an injured team last year? He doesn't have Nurkic. How are they supposed to win without Nurkic? And they're having to play so-and-so and so-and-so. Well, what is Mike Malone supposed to do? He's without Jamal Murray, Will Barton, and PJ Dozier, and he's having to play Marcus Howard, who's on a two-way contract. What is Mike Malone supposed to do? Well, he's winning in the playoffs. He's up 3-2 against our Blazers. So, makes you think that injuries aren't the reason, because if they were the reason, well, we'd have already won this series by now. If it was the reason, these issues wouldn't still exist in the same exact way that they existed last year when we had injuries. All these injuries existed when we didn't have Nurkic and CJ this year. Guess what? They came back. Guess what? They didn't fix all the issues. Who told you guys that it wasn't personnel? It was us. At this point, it's so obvious that either you know it or you never will. Because there's a lot of people out there that just want to, bury their head in the sand and make it out like, oh, we just need our roster is just trash. Sure, trading CJ for a second star is going to help, but there's so many problems with this team beyond the personnel that should be fixed, and the personnel wasn't responsible for. And that's what we need. We need a new damn head coach, and I've been saying it for years, and it's more obvious than ever to at least most people in this fan base, it seems like. So,
just real quick, I got Jose Hernandez. Dude, you got timed out because you made a death threat. If you do it again, we'll just have to ban you on the channel. It had nothing to do with being butthurt by anybody.
Wait. Did he do it again? Like recently? Because I banned him an hour ago for doing it. I gave him a 5-minute timeout an hour ago. Oh, so this is the second time he's said somebody needs to death threat. Yeah, no, we don't play that. Like, he should be permabanned because I timed you out once for doing that. We don't play that crap here, okay? We don't, like, bro, it's basketball. Like, I'm pissed off. I want a new head coach. I want Stotts fired. Bro, but it's freaking basketball.
Not death, yeah.
Like, dude, come on. Grow up. If you're out here, one of those people, one of those morons on Twitter saying, giving death threats and saying certain people should have a hit out on them and all that type of crap, you're childish as it gets. You need to grow up. Like, I get being frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm as frustrated as any of you. But you don't see me saying that stuff. You see me calling out that stuff. It gets annoying because I have people that think that, oh, anybody who doesn't like Stotts is just a toxic moron. They try and make it out like I'm the one sitting here saying this stuff that some people out there say. They're trying to make it out like I'm the one saying that Stotts needs a hit out on him or yada yada. No, I'm the one who has to stand up to that all the time, bro. I'm the one who calls that type of stuff out. That's not acceptable in any case. It's sports. You sound like the type of fan that would get arrested for doing some dumbass shit at a game, okay? So grow up. We don't play that here. If anybody does some stuff like that, permaban. Okay? I don't play that. I don't put up with that. We don't put up with that here. So it's it's pathetic, bro. Like, I can't believe we really have to call that out. I can't believe people are like that, man.
And wait.
Good permaban, Trevin. Because bro, you don't joke about that type of stuff, man. Mm-hmm. Like, I hate that. I hate that. Oh, it's just a joke. Bro, you don't joke about that stuff, man. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, bro, that's like, how's that a joke? It's supposed to be funny, right? Aren't jokes supposed to be funny? No, you're literally saying some ridiculous, non-funny crap that's just bro, like, I don't understand. I hate how people will say some terrible stuff and then just try, oh, I'm just joking, man. That's as childish as it gets. That sounds like some middle school crap, dude. Like, you cannot just sit here and hide behind, it's a joke, after saying some terrible stuff like, somebody needs to put a hit out on somebody, bro. Yeah. We don't play that here. You don't joke about injuries. You don't joke about, putting a hit out on somebody or somebody needs to get shot or yada yada. You don't do that stuff. Flat out simple. And we will never play that stuff. We will never play with that stuff. We will permanently ban anybody doing that type of crap. There's a certain level of standard that people should hold themselves to, and a lot of people on the internet don't. Okay? If you don't hold yourself to that standard, then you don't belong in our chat. Simple.
And then, dude, here's the thing I don't get. You don't have to say the death threats. We have 1,000 things we've given you as to why you can say he sucks as a coach. There's no reason to want him dead or to do any of that kind of stuff. Like, just make it about basketball related things and coaching related things. We have way enough things to say about that to make an argument. You don't have to go there at any point. It's just dumb.
Yep. Sorry, Strider Hoops. He says my mom's watching this. Sorry, we got to call that type of stuff out, man. Like, that's not cool. Like, I mean, bro, I had people trying to leak my address because I called that out on Twitter. Like, I don't play around with that type of stuff. Like, because then I have people trying to, like, attribute that stuff to me. And the thing is, I wouldn't play around with it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, It is not about that, but it's extra frustrating because I got all these people that try and make it out like I'm the one saying this stuff, and then I'm the one who's standing up to it on Twitter. Whereas you'll have a guy, you know, Blazers by Sager, I think he's an ex-Blazers edge writer, saying he wants to murder Olshey on Twitter, and people aren't speaking against it, but they'll be the first to cry that, you know, people were saying the same thing in regards to Stotts. Guess what? All that type of stuff I will call out. Because it's not about basketball opinions. Basketball opinions are basketball opinions. When it comes to talking about stuff like that in regards to somebody's life, it crosses the line. And it doesn't matter who it's about. It can be about anybody in the league. It could be about anyone in general when it comes to the NBA. We don't play that. So, like, I'm tired of having to deal with people like that.
Yep, completely agree.
This stream is not going to get a strike, Jackson. We haven't said anything to get a strike, dude. Not even close. Come on. But yeah, so don't say that type of stuff. We don't play that here. I don't care. Like, we can't stand Terry Stotts. We're super frustrated with Terry Stotts. I might say I hate Terry Stotts. I don't hate him personally. I hate him as a coach. All of it is based on basketball. You said it twice, Jose. Don't even give me that crap. I saw you specifically say it twice.
He said he wasn't even in here earlier. I don't know.
Well, it was Jose Hernandez with your profile picture. So unless you're trying to tell me that there's two of you. And it was like the same exact type of comment, so I doubt it's two of you, bro. I'm not buying that.
Yeah, man.
So, anyway, yeah.
We gave him the warning. If you say anything else questionable, you're gone. But just be a better person.
We'll even let you guys say F Stotts. It's not like we're being...
Yeah.
You know, it's not like we're being harsh. So, it's not like we're even being harsh. We'll let you say F Stotts. You can say F Stotts all you want. So, anyway. Also, insulting other people in chat, we don't play that either. We'll handle it. We don't need anybody to sit there and insult people. You know what I mean? That's how things work in chat. But anyway, anything else left to say from this game, Eric?
No, just Dame's awesome. The rest of the team sucked, including the coaches.
We'll cover adjustments for next game. I mean, but the adjustments for next game, you guys could probably already guess exactly what we're going to say. I mean, it's what we've been talking about all season long. But we will have a pregame show tomorrow on Blazers Uprise Live. That's our second channel. Link is at the top of the description box below. That'll be a Wednesday night Blazers Uprise Live stream. Going live around 9:30. And then we play Thursday. We'll have another post-game show. That's an earlier tip-off. That's a 5 p.m. game. So we'll be going live around 7:30 p.m. As far as... I don't know. I completely lost my train of thought. I don't know. I'm just at a loss for words for this game, and then...
What a crappy night.
Yeah, just a very disappointing game. And we'll see if the Blazers can bounce back. The series is not over. I mean, they have to win another one before the series is over. But very disappointing. We should have been coming home for Game 6 with a chance to close this out. Instead, we're going to have to try and repeat what we did in 2019. But we have, you know, been in this position before and won the series, so it's not like it's over. Just very disheartening loss.
And that better not save Stotts' job if they do win these two games. He's been absolutely brutally bad in these 5 games so far and absolutely does not deserve to have a job even if they win the series just because his team beats the other team. That's not due to coaching, in my opinion.
Yep.
And if he does switch things up and it works, then it's going to be like, well, where the heck was that earlier in the series? And that's always been my problem. So.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, this was a very rant-filled stream. Somebody in chat is saying Eric is not emotional. I was more emotional than Eric tonight. But I don't know. I like emotion. I like being real.
I got emotional for a while, but yeah, I get all my emotions during the game for the most part, and then Stotts pisses me off, and then I get more emotional.
There are streams where you rant, there are streams where I rant more. We trade off with that, but we just show our emotion, and we analyze the game as we see it. We're real. So, I mean, some people don't like it, but they can't say we're not real because that's all we are. Like, that's what we live by.
Yeah. And tonight it was more of just like being a parent. It's more like the disappointed parent, you know, like how do you not come out ready to play and ready to knowing, just like game 2, you knew they were going to come out and give you their best punch. Like, Dame's a boxer, he boxes now and all that crap. Like, you should be ready to take a punch and punch back and stuff. And I just felt like the first 18 minutes of this game, we did not punch back. And ultimately, I feel like that cost us the game, even though we caught back up and took the lead. If we would have not had to come back by so much down, I think it would have been better. And I just don't understand in a playoff series, game 5, knowing over 80% of the time when the team that wins game 5 wins a series, how important this game is to not come out with that fighter mentality.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I've been the disappointed person a number of times before. I mean, just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll have you covered tomorrow night. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at ToryJonesYT for me, at HoopShock for Eric, at Blazers Uprise YT for the channel. Make sure you subscribe to Blazers Uprise Live. As I said, link in the description below. We'll be going live tomorrow night instead of Thursday. Also, leave a like on this video. We had double-digit dislikes, so some haters in here coming in here and leaving dislikes. So if we could hit 200 likes on this stream, that would be phenomenal. It would mean a lot to us. It helps out the channel. Other than that,
thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. We really appreciate all the support and appreciate you guys tuning in. Even if you don't like what we say, still appreciate the conversation as long as it's respectful. So thank you to all of those who were actually respectful in the chat.
Yep. Appreciate you guys. Chat's always pretty awesome, win or loss, and a few bad apples don't spoil it. So I enjoy talking basketball with you guys, and I enjoy you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in for the stream tonight and what was a very tough loss for us. So we'll have you covered tomorrow. We'll see what the Blazers can do. We'll see if they can force a game 7. They got to win 2 games in a row to win this series. We'll see if they can get the job done. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night on Blazers Uprise Live. Until then, have a good rest of your night. We will see you later. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.